It's the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This afternoon, we're in Tampa as the Pittsburgh Steelers try to keep their playoff.
He had 7 boards. Boston College with its third 20-win.
Have expected them to be in the position they're in right now.
Everybody gave up on the Pittsburgh Steelers except the fans of Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh team. I mean, they really did. Bubby Brister, they don't like to make excuses, but Bubby Brister said to us some 10 or 12 weeks ago, look, when you don't have the same offensive line week in and week out, you just can't do the things offensively that you want to do. And that was the biggest problem. Brister, the Steelers are back.
The Steelers definitely are back. The offensive line's consistency, one of the biggest reasons. They've taken now 4 of their last 5. They're looking for their 3rd straight win. Tim Worley has really come on.
Isn't it interesting, though, but over 10 weeks ago when we talked to Bubby Brister, Bubby said if Tim Worley, if he can gain 100 yards or close to 100 yards a game, we will win. In the last 5 weeks, Bubby Brister has not thrown a touchdown pass, and it doesn't matter to him as long as they win football games, Joel.
Has had such a phenomenal run over the last 5 games, over the last 4 in particular. He's averaged 91 yards a game, and I guess Bubby Brister put it best when we were talking with the Steelers quarterback. He said, Worley is comfortable, he has confidence, and he knows the system. You can see the difference over the last 4 as opposed to his first 11. His last 4, he's outdone his total output from the backfield as opposed to the previous 11. A young man from Georgia, the first-round draft choice of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers won the opening coin toss. John Carney, former kicker at Notre Dame, kicking off to the leader in the AFC. In kickoff return, 2nd in the NFL, Rod Woodson, with a 26.4-yard average. So here we go. Igwe Buike, not Carney, will kick it away. High one and a short one taken to the 11th. Woodson gets a block to the outside. Sensational return for the Steelers. What a start for Pittsburgh today. Still on his feet. Woodson inside the 20. Dragged down from behind at the 17-yard line.
Rod Woodson.
2nd in the NFL. 6th in the AFC. And what a shot in the arm to get things underway for Pittsburgh. A 72-yard return.
Just take a look at what Tampa Bay does, though, Joel. They go to the middle of the field. Nobody stays on the outside. Aaron Jones, number 97, look at the block. He just stays with his block, and he helps Worley pick up the extra yardage that he needs. With that block, he picks up 13 more. And they have 2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers down on the field.
One of the injured bucks down there that they're attending to right now is Ricky Reynolds, their starting cornerback, who has 4 interceptions. One of their leaders in the secondary. What a blow that would be for Tampa Bay. They're already missing their starting quarterback today. If you haven't heard the news, Vinny Testaverde was placed on the injured reserve list. Joe Ferguson will get the start for the Buccaneers. Injuries have really caught up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially in the offensive line over the last 4 to 5 weeks. Now this offensive line finally healthy for the last 7 straight games for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And their right tackle, named to the Pro Bowl, Tunchilkin, one of the best pass blockers in the NFL, protecting Bubby Brister. Worley in the backfield along with Merrill Hodge, a very consistent group now in the backfield for Pittsburgh. When they go to their spread offense, the extra wide receivers come in. And due to the injury to Rodney Carter, who just went on IR, Dwight Stone and Mark Stock will be the 2 in there. Pittsburgh fans normally would see Rodney Carter coming out of the backfield. Let's look again at the Ricky Reynolds injury on that kickoff return.
Now just remember, Ricky Reynolds is the starting left corner, and he's limping. His left ankle just folds underneath him when Woodson cuts back, and that's what caused it.
First and 10 give. It's Merrill Hodge inside the 15. Gain of about 4 to the 13-yard line, put down by Eugene Marr. So that was a 72-yard return for Rod Woodson. His longest so far this season, an 84-yarder. We saw a fall at Pittsburgh against the San Diego Chargers for a touchdown.
You bet it was. A great run. Just a world-class sprinter. You just can't let him to get outside.
There's the defensive front seven. They're trying to slow down Pittsburgh today. Tim Worley banging it near a first down inside the 8, close to the 7-yard line. May just be inches short, about a foot short. That first down marker. And all of my lips sealed shut from the weather. You'll have to pry them open this afternoon.
We're in a wind tunnel up here. We are so high above the stadium and the wind is just blowing it. It's crazy.
When they go to their dime alignment, these are the changes they'll make. They'll bring in their #1 draft choice, Broderick Thomas, along with Futrell and Elder, joining the regulars in the secondary, Reynolds, Jones, Robinson, and Harry Hamilton. Right now, Futrell is starting, though, due to the injury to Ricky Reynolds. On 3rd and short, Worley cutting it back, gets the first down inside the 6-yard line. Good recognition by Worley. They had strung out the play. He cut it back in the nick of time and picked up that first down.
I think one of the interesting things yesterday, we were talking to Bubby Brister, and you asked him, he said, Bubby, wouldn't you like to start this game with, throwing a little trick play or a pass play? He started laughing. He says, I would like to, but Chuck Noll, we will run on 1st, we will run on 2nd, and we will run on 3rd, and that's exactly what they've done.
1st and goal. Steelers started with it after that great return to the 17. This is Merrill Hodge on the trap play inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. Marv tripping him up along with John Cannon, the left tackle. Thought it was interesting when we asked him, and we'll get to that in just a second, but great offensive line play over the last 5 weeks continues in the early going today.
Dawson, Reinstra, and Long, they just go right up the middle, and the hole is open, and Hodge is there. They're inside the 2-yard line.
Bobby Brister told us last week in the game against the New England Patriots, which they won 28-3, they went to the line of scrimmage and called the plays, and the Patriots picked up on them finally towards the 4th quarter, but they still couldn't stop them. 2nd and goal. It's inside the 2-yard line. Early movement, no flags. Worley plowing ahead, he's in. Touchdown Steelers. It looked like Merrill Hodge may have lifted up a little bit early, but the Steelers will take it.
Joel, this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and we're talking to Tampa Bay yesterday, when you talked to their linebackers, Irvin Randall was sitting there talking about it. He says, there's no surprises with Pittsburgh. They're going to trap you. They're going to run right at you. They line up. Now, just watch when the guards are pulling. There's a trapping right in the middle of the line. Dawson, Reinstra, and Long, they just trap in the middle. No surprises with this team.
Gary Anderson, perfect on the extra point. An exceptional start for the Pittsburgh Steelers thanks to that great return by Rod Woodson. They've got a 7-0 lead at Tampa.
Are you the one who put these away? Oh, yeah. Look at the angel of one. This is it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
When you gather around for the holidays, there's no better beer to have around than Michelob. Look for our tree at your store and have a happy holiday.
Another Pontiac First is ready for delivery. The first 4-door version of Grand Prix style and performance. The new Grand Prix Sport Sedan. You've got to drive it.
Get on the Pontiac and ride! Pontiac ride!
The exciting new 4-door Grand Prix. You've got to check it out.
Rebuilding excitement!
Now get 4.8% financing on every new Grand Prix during Pontiac's All-Out Excitement Closeout.
Stuffing!
Mr. Scrooge loves the new stuffing in the 5-piece holiday meal deal from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Stuffing!
With 5 pieces of the Colonel's chicken and 2 buttermilk biscuits, all for only $4.99. Perfect for the 2 of us. Heavens, it's the Cratchits!
Hide the stuffing. We brought the 10-piece holiday meal.
With 4 biscuits and more stuffing.
Just $9.99. I like the way you think, Cratchit.
Get the 5 or 10-piece holiday meal deal at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
2 minutes and 49 seconds into the contest, Tim Worley, the rookie running back from the University of Georgia, has given the Pittsburgh Steelers a 7-0 lead. Look at the wild card scenario now for the Steelers. They've got to win today to have any kind of shot at all. Then they need the Bengals, the Raiders, and the Colts all to lose. If that scenario develops, then the Steelers would play the Oilers in Houston in the AFC wild card game. Teams that are already in, Denver, Cleveland, Buffalo. Two that can control their own destiny in the AFC, Indianapolis and Cincinnati. Those that will be keeping up with the other scores, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Steelers, of course, Houston, and Miami. Anderson kicking it away. It'll be taken by the up man. That'll be Sylvester Stamps across the 20 to the 25-yard line. He'll say his knee was down at the 24, put down there by David Arnold. Now the two teams getting into it very early. These two teams shouldn't have that much of a rivalry. This is only the fourth meeting in the history of the series. The last get-together was in 1983. Pittsburgh has taken the previous three.
When it's this cold, you don't need an excuse to fight with somebody. When somebody steps on your toe, look out.
The offensive lineup, big offensive line. A couple of starters for the first time today, Bax and Bruin. The two guards getting starts today for the first time this year for the Buccaneers. Ferguson, his second start this season, replacing the injured Vinny Testaverde, and they go to their shotgun offense. The extra wide receivers, Drury and Peebles. First and 10 give. It goes to Lars Tate. Hard runner across the 27 to the 28-yard line. Tate in his second year from Georgia. Let's get an update now from Bob Costas and NFL Live.
All right, Joel, you had the long punt return by Rod Woodson of the Steelers to set up a touchdown. This one by Dave Meggett, the sensational Giant rookie, goes all the way, 76 yards against the Raiders. Count the broken or slipped tackles, 3, 4 or 5 of them at least, and he goes all the way, 76 yards for the touchdown. 7-0 Giants. If they win, they clinch the East.
All right, Bob, thank you. Second and 6 situation. This time it's James Wilder trying the left side. Not too much deception in the early going from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Short yardage up to the 29 near the 30. It'll bring up third and still close to 5. Ninth year out of the University of Missouri. Injured Pittsburgh Steeler is down. Hopefully it's not David Little. Is that number 50? The umpire blocking us out. And David Little, who calls their defensive signals. Front 7 for the Steelers. If they ever come together, especially that group of linebackers, even though they have that injury to Hardy Nickerson just about 7 weeks ago, and Nickerson back in the lineup, you'll be able to see some spot duty today. But they are getting to the quarterback with regularity now. When they go to their dime package, the extra defensive backs come in, an extra down lineman as well. A good pass rusher, Aaron Jones, extra D backs, Larry Griffin, and Delton Hall.
Joel, the one thing about this team, we're talking to Bubby yesterday, Brister said that, you know, the thing that made this team win 4 out of the last 5 is the defensive football team. They said they have just played superb football, and it's nice giving credit to the defense by the offense. But keep in mind, as we said at the top of the show, the fact that Brister has not thrown a pass in the last 5 games. It's a touchdown pass in the last 5 games, and it really doesn't bother him. He said, I would like to, but we'll take a win any way we can get it.
He really is a total team player. 98 Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, is the injured Steeler down. Sitting up, hopefully, maybe he just took a shot where he had his wind knocked out. The Eagles need a victory for a wild card. And if the Giants lose, of course, then the Eagles could ultimately win the division if they win their game against the Phoenix Cardinals and Green Bay. In dire straits, needing a victory as well. Now, Green Bay wins and Minnesota loses on Monday, then Green Bay will win the NFC Central. Just a few possibilities this weekend.
Oh, yeah, and we'll get to all of them by midnight. But, you know, the amazing thing about Pittsburgh, though, they have to look at 3 teams that have to lose. And we talked to them about, I mean, the concentration level. Do you worry about what these other teams are going to do? They don't have to worry about it because Cincinnati does not play till tomorrow night, no matter what the other 2 teams do today.
Lorenzo Freeman takes over the nose tackle position on 3rd and 4. A long for Ferguson with his first pass of the day over the middle. It's complete. Taken in by Sylvester Stamps out of the backfield for a first down to the 48 of the Steelers. A 22-yard reception to Stamps.
What happens is Stamps, he gets behind David Johnson, number 44. Right at the bottom of your screen, you see David Johnson. Now watch what Stamps does. Once he gets behind him, Ferguson throws a perfect pass. Johnson has no chance to get to the ball. Stamps does.
Joe Ferguson told us yesterday, at the end of the year, he'll decide about next season. He's the oldest player in the NFL at 39. He'll turn 40 this coming April. They give to Lars Tate. Huge hole. There he goes into the secondary, and he may be gone. Pulled down from behind by the linebacker, Brian Hinkle. At the 20-yard line, Lars Tate, another product of the University of Georgia. Tate working for the Buccaneers and Worley for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Joel, the hole was beautiful when Tate went to the hole to his left, to the right of the screen. You're going to see the hole open up, and I think it's John Bruin, number 69, who is the right guard that pulls out and makes the hole there. He seals back to the inside, and then look at Tate. There's a missed tackle by Thomas Everett, number 27, but then Hinkle makes the play.
Tate weaving his way out of the backfield. Does a good job just to get to the line of scrimmage. As the Steelers strung it out to the short side of the field extremely well on the defensive side. Tate had a 29-yard carry on that long run down to the 21-yard line. One thing, though, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, over the last 7 weeks, they really haven't had any continuity on their offensive line due to injuries, and they don't have one regular in their backfield averaging at least 4 yards a carry.
You know, and Ray Perkins was talking about people don't want to listen to injury woes. The Pittsburgh Steelers had them at the beginning of the year. You saw what happened to them. The same thing has happened to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last 4 or 5 games.
Second and 10 to the 21. This drive started all the way back at the 24. Former Missouri Tiger James Wilder slips down on his own, gets back up and lunges for about 3. Down to the 18-yard line, where he's hit by David Little, the inside linebacker.
Well, when you run wide, you hope the corners will stop. Olszewski, number 92, watch what he does. He doesn't get caught up in the line, Joel. He goes along the line of scrimmage. As he's going along, Bruin tries to block him. He gets away, gets into the play, gets the tackle along with David Little, number 50.
You hate to see a player go down, but the Steelers found they did have a player in Olszewski when Hardy Nickerson went down. So when David Little decides to call it a career, and he's in his 9th year now, they know they've got 2 very good linebackers in Nickerson and Jerry Olszewski from the University of Pittsburgh. 3rd and 7, Ferguson short arms it, and it's complete. His favorite target, Mark Carrier. Carrier, 3rd in the NFL in receptions, has the first down. Had to wait a long time to get to it.
You're going to see something a little unusual here because Courier, as he's in the sidelines, what happens is the guy that's going to end up over there to the right is Hinkle. And Hinkle is a linebacker. He is not covering Carrier by any means, but he has the short zone. He just didn't get out far enough.
Many in South Florida upset that Carrier was not named one of the 4 wide receivers on the Pro Bowl. He told us yesterday it's everyone's goal to make it, but he doesn't worry about it because it's something he has no control over. Where does he deserve it? First and goal at the 8-yard line. They send Hill in motion. Working out of the eye, Tate has it. Tries to slide to the outside. He gets a yard and a half just inside the 7, close to the 7-yard line, where he's tripped up by Brian Hinkle.
The thing that happens on a day like today, and it's cold, everybody says that Pittsburgh has the home field advantage because of the weather here. But you can't arm tackle people. You've got to get your body squared up, and you've got to take them on in the pads. You can't be reaching out. It's so cold, you really don't have that much feeling in your fingers, so you better get your shoulder pads on them.
We said to Chuck Noll when he met with us yesterday, a little cold here in Florida, Chuck. He said, this is the tropics for us. 2nd and goal, just outside of the 7-yard line. Tate and Howard, the tandem in the backfield, and Ferguson will put it up top. And it's deflected to the line. It falls incomplete. He wanted to go to the tight end, Ron Hall, but it was knocked down to the line of scrimmage.
He would have had Ron Hall, but only for about a 2 or 3 yard gain because the linebackers were sitting back there. It was a poor choice, but he had no other choice to make.
What a career it's been. And you saw him operate for so long in Buffalo, where you make your home, Paul.
Yeah, he talks the most memorable thing is the O.J. Simpson 2,000-yard game, but here it comes now. Joe's just trying to a little teeny flip pass, and it's someone on the inside, and I don't know if it was Lorenzo Freeman or not.
Ferguson will call the signals out of the shotgun on 3rd and goal outside of the 7-yard line. He's got 4 wide receivers working. Pocket holds up well. Over the middle, out of the hands of Carrier, and a flag goes down. Defending on the play, it was Rod Woodson, the quarterback, pleading his case now.
Well, I think what they're calling holding on Rod Woodson. It seemed like Courier was too far out in front of him to have a chance to hold. We're going to see it here. Goes Carrier's going across the middle. Woodson's behind. Now, that's where the hold is. He's got him by the back of the shirt. It's a good call by the official.
Outstanding call. So, holding. Automatic first down.
Defense. First down.
referee today is Jerry Seaman. So the Buccaneers, on their first possession of the afternoon, putting together a very impressive drive, mixing up the pass and the run effectively. They started with the ball at their own 24-yard line.
Third down conversions, and they are so important.
Ferguson hit a big one on that reception on 3rd and 7 to get it down to the 8-yard line to make it 1st and goal, and the reception by Mark Carrier.
This is 4, isn't it?
I can't tell yet.
He rolled the green.
Pitch goes to Lars Tate. They turn it inside. Rod Woodson made the play. Everett came over to help out, but Woodson really turned it in. And it's a loss of about 3 back to the 7.
Rod Woodson making the play, and what he does is he stays to the outside. And as long as you stay to the outside, you're going to have some help inside. Watch this. The blocker's coming out Howard to block on him. Now watch what Woodson does. He stays outside. Now he forces Tate inside. Everett is there, and Woodson also makes a tackle. Beautiful. You can't play defense better than that.
Woodson turns it in, and you see 27 knifing through. He is fearless out of the secondary. Thomas Everett.
Mr. Torpedo. I'll tell you, he took on Christian Okoye about 6 times in the game we did up there.
2nd and goal near the 7-yard line. In the end zone, touchdown Tampa Bay. Mark Carrier. His 8th touchdown reception of the year.
Gives you an idea why this young man should be in the Pro Bowl. He has all the numbers. He is what they use. They double team him, and watch what happens. He goes to the inside. There's Woodruff there. There's Everett there. The pass by Ferguson was absolutely perfect. It's touchdown.
So Pittsburgh shocked Tampa Bay with a long return in the early score. The Buccaneers very methodically, though, goes down 76 yards. Igwe Buike gets it through. And it's all even in Florida. The touchdown pass. So Mark Carrier, a 7-yarder from Joe Ferguson, and it's tied at 7.
You hear the thunder, the call of the road.
Moving quick and with purpose. That's the whole idea behind Pontiac's newest Grand Prix.
Get on your Pontiac and ride, Pontiac ride.
Introducing the first Grand Prix ever with 4 doors. The new Grand Prix Sports Sedan.
Feel excitement.
Now get 4.8% financing on every new Grand Prix during Pontiac's All-Out Excitement Closeout.
It wasn't too long ago when an American car here in Switzerland would make people look up in surprise. Not anymore. Oh, I wouldn't say they're all over the place, but GM sells a lot of cars over here these days. Good cars at good value. I should know. This is my dealership right here.
GM exports more cars around the world from North America than any other car manufacturer.
It's 32 degrees, and Jan Trumpeter is learning all about her antifreeze. The hard way.
Why not?
Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by New Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By GMAZ, the financial services people from General Motors. And by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement.
Welcome back to a very windy and chilly Tampa, Florida. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Little did we know when we came down to Tampa this weekend. I looked at the paper on Thursday. It was about 64, 65 degrees that the Siberian Express would move its way down here.
It snowed here last night. A little bit, but it snowed.
A 76-yard drive as Igwe Buike gets ready to kick it away for Tampa Bay.
Can't wait to listen to you pronounce his name in the 4th quarter. Go.
Woodson from the 14-yard line for the Steelers. Can he get a block to the outside? He's got such great speed. Didn't get the block, but got good yardage on the return up to the 28-yard line before he's forced down for the defensive end, John Cannon. Phoenix trying to shock everyone in the NFL on this final Sunday of the season with an early lead of the Eagles at Veterans Stadium. And the Raiders coming back after that long punt return for the Giants. All even at the Meadowlands. And New Orleans defeating Indianapolis. Good news for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Steelers have it. Second possession of the day at their own 28. First and 10. Worley getting in on the carry. He goes airborne, and flags go to the air as well as he's knocked down at the 30-yard line.
Flags are going in the air because it's a tripping penalty on Tampa Bay. Bobby Futrell, number 36. Wait a minute, they're calling us against Pittsburgh. I'll tell you, Bobby Futrell, you cannot put your legs up and trip the ball carrier. And I thought that's where the flag was.
Jerry Seaman sending them the opposite direction, though.
They're allowed to make mistakes.
Personal foul. Illegal crackback. Number 83 offense. Still first down.
Lewis Lips called it on the wide receiver. Leading receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Well, Paul, this is my first time calling a game from the Tampa Bay press box, but now I know what you're talking about. Calling a football game from here is like trying to call a game at the Meadowlands from the Empire State Building.
You know what's really nice about it, though, here? Because the airport is right next door. You can say hello to people in the planes as they go underneath you.
Welcome to Shea Stadium. Bobby Brister throwing to his tight end Malarkey. Got first down and then some. Malarkey past the 40-yard line to the 41. The safeties finally caught up to him, Robinson and Hamilton.
Do you know the successful teams in the National Football League are teams that really use their tight end? And Malarkey is an excellent tight end. We saw him in a game where he got hurt. But watch where Brister puts this ball. Malarkey gets by the linebacker. Once he does that, that's Eugene Marv, number 99, is one linebacker, and he runs through Irvin Randall, number 54. But once he does that, he picks up speed and gets the first down outside the 40.
A 27-yard reception for Malarkey. They give to Merrill Hodge. Good block to the outside. Hodge near the first down marker. All the credit in the world has to go to Terry Long, though, for sealing off that side.
You know, this is one of the toughest blocks in the world to make, Joel, is a guard pulling out, and you're moving at top speed, and be able to turn your body back around towards the inside and then move the man away. It opens up the hole for Hodge. That's a beautiful block by Long.
Terry Long in his 6th year out of East Carolina. Low center of gravity at 5'11", 275. 9-yard carry. 2nd and 1. It's Tim Worley or make it Merrill Hodge. Has the first down. A gain of about 10 to the 41-yard line. The Steelers have come on so strong over the last 4 to 5 weeks, especially on the ground. As you can see, over the first 10 games, they averaged almost 91 yards a game on the ground. 153 now over the last 5, and their record obviously indicates their success. And the real number on the bottom, though, tells the story. No injuries on the offensive line. No changes over the last 5. First and 10 at the 41 of the Buccaneers. High on the misdirection. Doesn't get much out of it. Spins for a couple to the 39-yard line. Knocked down by Eugene Marr, the inside linebacker from Saginaw Valley.
John Cannon, number 78, the left defensive end, who's taking the place of Reuben Davis, made the contact, hit the hole, but did not wrap his arms around. Picks up a yard. That's not bad.
Cannon getting that start due to the shoulder injury to Reuben Davis. Could see Davis a little bit later today, but he did not practice at all this week. Cannon gets the call. 2nd and long, 2nd and 8. Pocket holding up for Brister. He's going deep. He's looking for a hill just out of his reach. The rookie from Arizona almost got it. He was working against Rod Jones, the cornerback.
There's no question about Bubby's arm. That ball was 65 yards in the air.
And into the wind.
Bubby thought he would have made the play. His reaction is there. He thought Hill might be able to get it. All he had to do was throw it a little bit further because the cornerback, Rod Jones, number 22, actually fell down.
It'll bring up 3rd and long now. 3rd and so close to 8. Just outside of the 39-yard line. Steelers started with it at their own 28. Brister out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Has time. Goes up top just out of the reach of Lewis Lips. Off his fingertips. And Lips was available. He was open. Working on Ricky Reynolds, who's back in there after that early injury.
You're absolutely right. Ricky Reynolds is covering Lewis Lips, and Lips beat him. He ran what they call almost a post quarter. He'll go down and watch what he takes Reynolds. He's running him into the post, and then just pulls back, goes to the outside. He is open. The ball's just too high.
So Harry Newsom will come in to punt it away. Fourth in the AFC in overall average at 41 yards to try. Willie Drury, former Houston Oiler, waiting back at the Buccaneers' 11-yard line. He is hitting it into the wind. Hangs up a high one. Steelers down there, but can't get to the ball. Good coverage down there. Mark Stock in particular. But when we return, Tampa Bay has it back at their own 20-yard line.
Wouldn't it be great if suddenly you were in charge of the annual swimsuit issue, deciding things like how the models pose and who gets the cover? And wouldn't it be great if the models brought beer? Really great beer, like Keystone, the fresh, cold-filtered beer in a can that tastes like beer in a bottle because of Keystone's specially lined cans. And wouldn't it be great if later that day you all went bowling? Introducing Keystone and Keystone Light, bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
It's big. It's now. It's Pontiac's all-out excitement closeout. Now with our longest-term 4.8% finance rate ever on Grand Prix. That's right. Now every new Grand Prix is available with long-term 4.8% financing. Or get your share of millions in cash back on Grand Prix and almost every other new 1990 Pontiac in stock. But hurry, your Pontiac dealer is closing out the year with big cash back or 4.8% financing on Grand Prix. It won't last long. See your Pontiac excitement dealer now.
If you choose to finance or lease your new GM vehicle someplace other than GMAC, you might find yourself waiting in line instead of out hugging one. GMAC. Nobody wants to get you into your new GM car or truck faster.
New Year's Day, come home to the best in college football. Kick off your day with the Hall of Fame Bowl. The Southeast Conference co-champion Auburn Tigers, the Giant Killers, battle the high-scoring Buckeyes of Ohio State. New Year's Day, the best bowls are on NBC Sports.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week embarrassed. And Ray Perkins really felt it. He told us yesterday, they played last week like they were trying to get me fired. They lost to Detroit 33-7. He said, our bodies were in Detroit, but we weren't there. James Wilder on the 1st and 10 carry takes it to the 25-yard line. Heard of hand warmers. What about lip warmers?
I'm going to tell you right now, to solve this whole problem, just call them Tampa. Don't go Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's tough.
You're not going to get
And icicles form on Paul McGuire's mustache.
That's 3 B's in a row, and you can't, or 2 B's in a row, and you can't do that. Just go Tampa. They'll understand.
Carry of 5 for Wilder. 2nd and 5 from the 25. Joe Ferguson picked off 3 times last week, but he told us that's without any work during the regular practice session. James Wilder on the pitch near the first down. As he's down after a gain of 4, it'll bring up 3rd and 1. Another update now from Bob Costas at NFL Live.
All right, so after Dave Meggett brought back that punt, 76 yards for a Giant touchdown, he fumbled the next punt he tried to handle. The Raiders recovered, and Steve Berline cashes in with his 1-yard flip to Ethan Horton. This one's knotted at 7, late in the first. Back to Joel and Mr. McGuire.
Newfound respect for Paul McGuire. You bet. Welcome back to Tampa, where it's all tied at 7. 2 tight end set for the Buccaneers on 3rd and less than a yard. It's Lars Tate. He's got the first down across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
Lars Tate made a great run, and only for a yard, but he made a great run. The play was to the right guard, over the right guard, and what he did is he hesitated, went back to the left where the hole was.
Philadelphia Eagles have tied it up now with the Phoenix Cardinals at Veterans Stadium. And Dallas with a field goal. Tying up Green Bay. The LA Rams also need a victory today and have a 3-0 lead at Foxborough. Lars Tate on that last carry. Has a total of 32 yards now on 6 attempts. First and 10 for the Buccaneers from their own 32. Moving on the line. Flags into the air. A free down for Tampa. Don't tell Sylvester Samstad, or rather Lars Tate, though. He took quite a shot. Almost no gain on the carry. Maybe about a half a yard. Hardy Nickerson in there. Applying the hit.
You know, the one thing that's really amazing about, I know that Tampa has the ball, but Bubby Brister, you know, we saw him when we did the game when he hurt his knee, only stayed out 2 games, and now he says there will be no operation. The knee is fine. He's happy.
He's a throwback.
Offside, number 93 defense, still first down.
I asked Chuck Noll yesterday if you had a different quarterback, could have been a little bit different this year. He said everybody rallies around Bubby. That's the way it works around here.
All right, there's Keith Willis, number 93, going offside. They get in the neutral zone.
Brings up first and 5 from the 37 of Tampa. Wilder, the only one in the backfield. They double up the wide receivers. The same side. Ferguson running out of time. There's the first sack of the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it belongs to the outside linebacker, Greg Lloyd. Jerry Glanville talking about him a few weeks back. Likes his style.
And so do the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lloyd is not even blocked. I mean, he'll come from the left-hand side of the screen. And watch this. There's a deal on, and then Lloyd comes inside. They just don't go back outside and block. Back number 75, who is the starting guard, because McHale is hurt, he just didn't move back in. He went with the deal from the inside. They get back underneath him. That's his man.
Sack number 6 on the season for Greg Lloyd. A loss of 7 yards. Second and a dozen. As they send him in motion. The long count, the delay again. Sylvester Stamps with a big hole across the 35 to the 37. A gain of 7 yards on the carry.
Yeah, but the man that got the block is back there with him. William Howard, number 43, comes in and just makes a super block and opens up the hole.
That'll be the final play of the first quarter in Tampa. A must-win situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the first sack of the afternoon towards the tail end of the first 15 minutes of play. But Stamps making the nice run as we get ready to return to Tampa.
Heineken, Amstel Light. This so much better than other light beer.
William Howard, number 43 in the backfield. Watch the block he makes on Hardy Nickerson. That's what I was talking about before. Here it comes. He comes up into the hole right here, and then bang. Down he goes. The hole opens up. But they're still short of a first down by about 4.5 yards.
They'll call it 3rd and 5 from the 37. Both teams showing the ability to run the ball successfully over the first 15 minutes of play. Movement on the line. No flags into the air, though. Ferguson had his receiver fall down a little bit. That was Willie Drury, who lost his footing. And the Bucs will have to punt it away. Delton Hall providing the coverage.
When you see a pass play go like that, Joel, when Willie Drury goes down, you know that Joe Ferguson is throwing the ball to a spot, not to a man.
Both teams successful on the ground. The Buccaneers outgaining the Steelers of the first quarter. Chris Moore, a rookie from Alabama, 6th-round draft choice, starts today with a 40-yard average. Kicking it to Rod Woodson, the outstanding return specialist for Pittsburgh.
Oh, beautiful kick.
Great hang time from Moore. Blocks to the outside, though, for Woodson, and a flag down in the play as Woodson goes down as well at the 25-yard line. Donnie Elder, the first one down there. Another altercation. They're separated in a big hurry. A 47-yard punt, but a good 5 seconds on hang time.
That was an absolute beautiful punt, and it just, you know, it did stay up there. The problem was that Tampa Bay coming down on the play got beyond the Pittsburgh blocker. He tried to get out of the way and couldn't, and bumped him in the back.
Sheldon march in the wrong direction if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. As we sort out the situation with referee Jerry Seaman.
Illegal block. During the return, number 24 receiving team. First down.
Rodney Carter.
Time on the field. Be right back to cold and windy Tampa. It's all even at 7.
Enemy on the open. We're going to play right
I'm 30 miles from the action, but I'm responsible for a digital communication link between headquarters and brigade.
Heavy tech, 6.1.
If the data isn't programmed right, 5,000 troops could be cut off.
Enemy forces together.
But I'd never let that happen to my brigade.
Top 4 is eliminated.
All that you can be. You did it, sir.
Outstanding.
In the Army.
If you feel life's more interesting when you make a splash.
It's the right beer now.
If you feel a great beer starts with great water.
It's the right beer now.
Because you're the kind of person who likes to get to the bottom of things. Call for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. It's the right beer now.
NBC Sports serves your need to know all week long. Dial 1-900-454-3500 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the USA.
It's nice of Jerry Seaman to be thinking of Rodney Carter on this Christmas Eve. You know how nice it is? Because it's got to be the greatest block that Rodney Carter's ever made because he happens to be on IR and he's in Pittsburgh. Now, that's a long block.
It's a long way from home. Tide affairs all over the NFL on this final Sunday of the season. Indianapolis, good news for Steeler fans, down by 3 at the Superdome.
Rams are having a tough time.
Well, if it's cold in Tampa, I wonder what it feels like in Foxborough. And the wind never blows at Sullivan Stadium.
You know, the way these flags are blown and that kick by Moore just now, the wind does not affect the playing field. This is all circled in, and it just doesn't seem to be any wind down there at all.
First and 10. All the way back at the 10-yard line. Worley getting a block. Across the 20 for a first down to the 21-yard line. An 11-yard gain. You see the stiff wind or the stiff breeze, but as Paul mentioned, this is an encircled stadium by stands.
Well, look at those little things wrapped around are the flags on the goalpost, and there's no wind down there.
They had ice on them last night. They're frozen stiff. First and 10. The ball to the 21-yard line. Good reason they're not blowing in the wind. Too heavy. Brister going for Lips. He's got it, and he gets away.
He's gone.
Lewis Lips will not be caught from behind, and the Steelers take the lead. Yards on the touchdown catch for Lips.
And I think the man he beat was Bobby Futrell, but you give credit, first of all, to Brister for throwing the ball, but watch what Lips does. There's Futrell, 36. He just goes up in the air and takes the ball away. Futrell played the ball and not the man. And once Lewis Lips got in the open, I'll do it for you fans in Pittsburgh.
Lou, Lou, Lou. Those Lou's in the background provided by Paul McGuire.
That's right.
That Lou's for you. 79 yards from the touchdown. Gary Anderson threw to form on the extra point. 4th touchdown reception for Lewis Lips, and that is his longest of the entire season. It comes at an opportune time for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. So the Steelers, with 13:54 left in the first half, get the big play, the home run as they say, and they've got a 7-point lead over Tampa Bay.
Announcing a new generation of owner satisfaction. We're so sure you'll love your new Oldsmobile, we'll let you return it within 30 days or 1,500 miles if you don't. Who else does that? Unlike some warranties, Oldsmobiles covers just one part. This is the part. Oldsmobile now offers roadside assistance around the clock, even in places where there aren't any clocks. The Oldsmobile Edge, there's nothing else like it.
Hey, hustler, I got some more party time tips for you from Extra Gold Draft. First, never party with anything less than a full tilt taste of Extra Gold. Hey, this is one tough beer. Another tip, never shoot fool with a guy that brings his own stick. And never ever shoot with a guy that brings his own taser.
Ask for an extra. Go for the full tilt taste.
Nice shot. Hey. Happy holidays from all of us at Angel Soft and Georgia Pacific.
Interstate battery power starts up strong and keeps on going. To find an Interstate battery dealer near you,
Call 1-800 crank it. Get the power that goes on and on and on, yeah.
The city government is being run by thugs who leave murder in their path.
Don't worry, I'll handle that.
You're being pursued by an alien nation, and the only way to go is down.
Don't worry, I'll handle that.
You've got to save America's future, and we're giving you two gorgeous girls to do it with.
Don't worry, I'll...
Chameleons is coming Friday.
Welcome back to sunny Florida. We won't mention the temperature. It's sunny. We've got a break there today because it's been raining for the last 3 or 4 days. As Anderson hits a high one, but a very short one, taken by Donnie Elder, the up man. And he's forced out of bounds near the 34-yard line. Another update now from New York. Let's check in again with Bob Costas.
All right, Joel, as you know, it's unseasonably cold in Florida, 39 degrees at Miami, as Jim Jensen catches this early touchdown pass from Dan Marino, gives the Dolphins a 7-0 lead. Then Steve DeBerg comes back, gets Stephon Page, who tumbles in to tie the game at 7. They're early in the second at Joe Robbie, both teams with slim wild card hopes.
Could be a late day around the NFL with all these games so close in the early going. A few overtime affairs, it appears. And welcome back to Tampa. First and 10 at the 33. William Howard getting the start today. His second year from Tennessee. Taking it across the 35 to the 36 for a gain of 3 yards. If you missed NFL Live, the topics that were discussed. Al Davis joining Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson. Raiders needing their own ballpark. Home stadium for the 90. Sam Weiss talking about his drubbing of Houston. And Bobby Beathard talking about, I was very surprised because we saw NFL Live, that the Cowboys are going to cut their scouting system, Paul, by 50% because Jerry Jones has that much confidence in Jimmy Johnson.
That will cut their output by 80%.
Florida State taking the reverse. It doesn't fool the Steelers, though. Man, it's only a gain of about a yard and a half on the carry. Nickerson and Griffin in on the stop, and don't forget, at halftime, we'll join Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson for NFL Live with scores and highlights from around the NFL.
There'll be some highlights from this game, I'll tell you.
Rod Woodson with that long kickoff return, and then the 79-yard touchdown catch for Lewis Lipp.
That time we watched the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tampa Bay ran a fake reverse, and it just shows discipline on the defense to have your people stay at home.
3rd and 5. The ball to 38 of the Buccaneers. Ferguson will work out of the shotgun. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of Bruce Hill. Should have been caught for the first down. Hill could not hang on, though. The second leading receiver in his 3rd year from Arizona State.
Joe Ferguson is throwing the ball extremely well. The one he threw away is because his receiver slipped. That was Bruce Hill. Now, Bruce Hill came across this time, and he hits him in the hands, and he drops the ball. The other play was to Willie Drury. Testaverde talking to Joe Ferguson.
Testaverde suffering that severe ankle sprain last week against the Detroit Lions in the second quarter. And Joe Ferguson getting the final start of the season. So they signed the former Florida Gator Kerwin Bell for the final game as well. Oh, look at this kick. Very short one, high one. You said the wind didn't have a factor in the kicking game? It looks like it held that one up.
I think he just missed the ball. I think Moore just missed the ball.
The Steelers will take it with outstanding field position now. Outside of their own 42, near the 43. Well, we return to Tampa. Steelers get it back, leading by 7.
If you don't want to slow down on your way to the top. Because you know to make a beer as refreshing as a mountain stream, you've got to start with the mountain stream. When a night on the town might last all night, call for the taste preferred at Better Night Spot. The silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
It's the right beer now. You want a deal? Well, here comes the deal.
Get low 4.8 APR financing for up to 48 months on all new Cutlass Supremes.
This deal is not just another deal.
It's Oldsmobile's new generation celebration. We've made it possible for our dealers to pass along millions of dollars to their customers on all other models. Hurry, these deals won't last forever.
This is a deal on a new generation. Oldsmobile.
I've made up my mind. I'm going to do it. Why shouldn't I? I'm the one who has to look at myself in the mirror every morning. So before I lose another hair, I'm going to the doctor. I know doctors have treatment programs that are proven to work. More guys are trying them every day. I'm not bad now, but I wouldn't mind looking better.
Your doctor can really do something about hair loss. So see your doctor, or call this toll-free number.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. By United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Coors Light. Pure brewed in the Rockies, the Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now.
Steeler fans, some of the very best in the NFL, and many of them making the trek down to Tampa, Florida for this afternoon's matchup. We welcome you back. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Let's this motion man on 1st and 10 from the 43. And Tim Worley bottled up, going absolutely nowhere after a gain of maybe a yard at the most. Wrapped up by Winston Moss. Keeping you abreast of what's developing now. The Raiders, they need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Good news for Philadelphia Eagle fans. They're tied right now with the Phoenix Cardinals, but if Philadelphia comes out on top and the Giants are upset at home, the Eagles win the NFC's Eastern Division. Kansas City, as Bob Costas just told us, tying things up in Miami where it's a balmy 39 degrees.
A lot of ties. That Raiders win would really hurt Pittsburgh.
Very much so. Pittsburgh needs some help from the Giants. They also need Indianapolis and Cincinnati to lose.
Really hurt Pittsburgh to knock them out.
John Rainstrom, the left tackle with his 4th year from Temple, the injured Steeler, being helped off the field. So one thing they emphasized to us in our meeting yesterday, the help of the offensive line over the last 7 weeks. In jeopardy right now with Rainstrom taking the seat on the bench.
You notice one thing about the benches down here? You don't see any heated ones, do you?
Not too many people in this area have overcoats, let alone heated benches.
They really don't.
Craig Wolfley in there on the offensive line now. 2nd and 9, Brister has time, but the ball is deflected and almost intercepted by Winston Moss. Moss can't hang on to it. We'll be right back to Tampa. Let's check in again for another update with Bob Costas in New York.
Okay, Joel, the Raiders lead 14-7 at Giants Stadium after Mervin Fernandez makes his 9th touchdown reception of the year, hauling in his 30-yarder from Steve Berline. Giants had grabbed the 7-0 lead on Dave Meggett's punt return for a touchdown, but the Raiders have roared back, trying to keep their wild card hopes alive. Back to Joel and Paul.
Thank you, Bob. And just like the Pittsburgh Steelers have surprised fans, Paul, as far as I'm concerned, and I live in Southern California, the L.A. Raiders behind Steve Berline, one of the other surprises in the AFC this year.
What a great move with Shell being the coach.
Exactly. Great deal of foresight by Al Davis to put Archell in there. Turned out around their season completely. 3rd and long, 3rd and 9. Brister buying time, and it's batted down. Bobby Futrell, who was burned on the long one by Lewis Lips, comes up big this time.
Yeah, but if Bubby Brister, when he sees the film on this play, all he had to do was just tuck the ball away and run. It's easy for us to say because he had an open field in front of him, at least to pick up the 9 yards. Watch it. Goff comes from one side, and when Brister steps up, all he has to do now is make a move to his right. He has a blocker out there in Hodge. He would have been able to pick up the 9 yards.
Willie Jury waiting for the punt from Harry Newsom. Newsom, 4th best overall average in the NFC. Hangs up a high one. Jury taking it back at the 12-yard line, getting a good block to enable him to cross the 20 to the 21. It all starts at 1 o'clock Eastern. It's Championship Monday. The best bowls right here on NBC. Our first bowl game, Auburn, Ohio State, the Hall of Fame Bowl, to be followed by the Fiesta Bowl, Nebraska and Florida State. Then the battle for number 1. The undefeated Buffaloes of Colorado. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. It all starts down at the Orange Bowl with Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson. At 1 o'clock Eastern, we'll also have live reports from the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. So join us for Championship Monday on NBC. First and 10 for the Bucs. Their own 21-yard line. Again, going to William Howard. Across the 25 to the 28. This is an opportunity for players like William Howard in his second year from Tennessee to make a favorable impression upon the coaching staff.
Well, Gruber and backs, they just cave down to the inside. And when they do that, Howard just moves back to the left side. Woodson is the man that comes up and makes the play. Saves it from really a big game. Only 6 yards on the play. But when you're just sealing things off, and it's the patience of the running back to wait to see that hole open.
William Howard trying to make the most of his opportunity. Has not seen all that much time this year. Second and short, second and 4. It's Howard again getting the call. He's close to a first down, the 31-yard line. But I would think, Paul, this is an opportunity for Ray Perkins to formulate some opinions about players that are sitting on the edge as far as next season is concerned.
Well, as this game progresses, he's going to take a look at some players, as you suggested, and they want to see the people that they want to invite back next year. And, you know, these final games, especially when you're knocked out of the playoffs and you're not having a very good season, there is a reason for it. There has been some injuries, yes. But what you're doing here is you're taking a look at players that, you know, are they running for the bus or are they going to play and want to play next year? And this is a great opportunity for young players in a ball game to show, hey, we're out of the playoffs, but we're not out of football.
Vinny Testaverde sending the signals to quarterback Joe Ferguson. Testaverde cutting way down on his interceptions this year.
Yeah, but he makes a couple million a year, doesn't he? Can't he get a bigger jacket than that?
I mean, he wants his teammates to feel like he's into it.
Yeah, but he looks cool. He does look cool.
Cold is a better word.
No, he looks cool, but he's cold.
3rd and inches after the measurement near the 31. Movement on the line, flags into the air. And Lars Tate did not pick up the first down. But I believe the Steelers' right side jumped off, possibly Tim Johnson.
It was Tim Johnson. You know, you make a great play on defense. And the worst part about it, when you look at it, it wasn't even going to be run at Tim Johnson, so he didn't affect the play at all, but yet he jumped offside, just being a little too anxious. They know, the Pittsburgh Steelers know.
Number 78 defense, first down.
Pittsburgh Steelers know that they really can't watch the scoreboard. They can't care what these other teams are doing because of one thing, Cincinnati. You'll see Tim Johnson here, and he's on the right side of your screen, and the play is run to the left, so he really doesn't affect the play. But they can't look at that scoreboard because Cincinnati doesn't play till tomorrow night, and they have to win this football game to go anywhere.
A reminder, we'll be selecting the Budweiser MVP at the conclusion of today's contest. 1st and 10. Bobbling the pitch out of the backfield. Wilder doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. He loses about a half a yard.
He slipped down on the ice.
The frosty surface here in Tampa.
You know what? When you talk to Tampa Bay and Joe Ferguson, and you ask him about the Pittsburgh defense, they just do not do anything fancy. They rush 4 guys. They rarely blitz. They play their position so disciplined. And that's why you cannot really run wide on this team, because the linebackers will stay outside and force you inside.
He told us yesterday he'd rather go up against a team that takes chances, blitzes, where he's got an opportunity to make the big play. You can't do it that often against the sound Pittsburgh defense. Ferguson finding his wide receiver. It's complete to Danny Peebles, the rookie from North Carolina State. Short of the first down, though, by about 5 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 5. Uh-oh. Giants get a touchdown. Tied up at the Meadowlands in Philadelphia. Taking the lead for the first time today as Miami jumps back out on top at home. So on this roll, a lot of changes around the NFL on the scoreboard. 16th Sunday of the season.
It's some really exciting games yesterday, weren't they?
And Detroit going for their 5th win in a row. Shutout seemed to be the norm for Saturday affairs this year. Joe Ferguson. Tim Johnson felt somebody jump, but Joe Ferguson consistently altering his snap count and his rhythm, getting the Steelers offside.
Now they got to check and see if it was movement in the offensive line or an inflection in his voice. Tim Johnson said, hey,
encroachment, number 78 defense.
He was pointing at the center, Randy Grimes. Tim Johnson in his third year from Penn State.
There's Tim Johnson. He's right over the center. The center doesn't move. The center doesn't move. That's 2 in a row for Tim. Now you keep your eye on him because now he's mad. He'll make something happen.
The officials will mark it off 5 yards, which will put the Buccaneers very close to another first down. 8 minutes, 51 seconds left in the first half. Steelers 14, the Buccaneers 7. It's interesting talking to Joe Ferguson, though. What a great career he had with the Buffalo Bills. He said, the greatest experience of my entire career is the start of the fourth quarter, the 14th and final Sunday of the season when O.J. Simpson was about to reach 2,000 yards. We got into the huddle. Simpson needed 69 yards. We got that from the sideline. He said, I've never experienced that feeling in my entire career, what I felt in that huddle, the way we all got together. They ran 2 plays, or rather 1 play, the whole time to get Simpson the record, as James Wilder can't get out of the backfield on 3rd and short.
They just blitzed the corner, Rod Woodson, and he was there. He was in the backfield when the toss got there.
Rod Woodson with a big defensive play for the Steelers on 3rd and less than a yard.
This is one of the few times the Steelers gamble, and it's 3rd and short yardage. Look at Woodson. He is in the backfield. Wilder took 2 steps, and Woodson was there.
Sounded like Ferguson was describing the Steelers, though, the way he was talking about what the Buffalo Bills did for Simpson. Moore kicking it away to Woodson. Buccaneers down in 4th. Woodson will give ground if he can get a block, but he can't turn the corner. Sylvester Stamps down the special teams.
Boy, are you right. If he gets that corner, it's all over because the blocking, the line was there all the way down, and Woodson gave ground. All he had to do was get around.
They're right back to Tampa. Steelers have it back and the lead.
Announcing a new generation of owner satisfaction. We're so sure you'll love your new Oldsmobile, we'll let you return it within 30 days or 1,500 miles if you don't. Who else does that? Unlike some warranties, Oldsmobile's covers just 1 part. This is the part. Oldsmobile now offers roadside assistance around the clock, even in places where there aren't any clocks. The Oldsmobile Edge, there's nothing else like it.
The network. It's the most powerful tool in business today. At GTE, we can put that power in your hands. The power of a personalized communications network designed for the success of your business alone. The growth of your business, the prosperity of your business. We've done it for others. We'll do it for you. Because at GTE, the power is on.
This December, things are really heating up. Heating up at every GM division. Each dealer is out to make December hotter than ever before. Deals like 4.8% APR GMAC financing for 48 months or cash back up to $750 on the roomy new sedan and sport coupe, the Chevrolet Lumina. Yes, this December is incredibly hot at every GM division. It's GM's hot December. Come feel the heat.
Come home to the best in college football as Auburn battles Ohio State in the Hall of Fame Bowl. Then number 5 Florida State takes on 6th-ranked Nebraska at the Fiesta Bowl. And a game that will determine the national championship as number 1 Colorado battles 4th-ranked Notre Dame at the Orange Bowl. New Year's Day, the best bowls are on NBC.
Many feel it's a home field advantage for the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend due to the weather conditions in Tampa, Florida. And I wouldn't argue with them. Welcome back, Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Game time temperature 39 degrees with the wind chill, making it a comfy 20 degrees. Down to the field at Tampa Stadium. 1st and 10 for the Steelers from their own 13. Brister is throwing, going up top, and it's intercepted by Butrell. He wanted lift. Bobby Butrell got it.
Lewis lifted all he could possibly do to get Butrell because he tried to reach back and grab him. And I got to believe that Brister was hit just as he lets the ball go. Now here comes Lips downfield with Butrell. Now watch Lips' left arm. He reaches back and grabs. That's offensive pass interference #1. And then Butrell makes a one-handed catch. Excellent concentration.
A lot of pressure, though, on Bobby Brister.
Pressure was from the inside, and they were coming up inside. Murphy, 59, is a linebacker, and Weston, number 77, is defensive end.
Ferguson going into the end zone for Peebles. Peebles, for some reason, lost the ball.
He lost the ball in the sun. If you take a look at the shadows of the players, which you can see on the field, it goes directly across the field, and then when Peebles looks up, he's shaking his head, telling Carrier, I just couldn't see the ball. Peebles goes out, little hitch and go. He's on Woodruff here, but watch when he looks up. He can't even see the ball. He has no idea where the ball is. He's looking up and down. Look it. No chance. Now you don't throw the ball back to the left-hand side.
Ferguson, 4 of 8 in passing so far. 42 yards and 1 touchdown. 7-yard touchdown pass to Mark Carrier. 7 and 10 now for the Bucs. The 30-yard line of Pittsburgh. Going to be Lars Tate. Tripped up across the line of scrimmage, falling forward for 3 to the 27. 7 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first half. The Steelers leading by 7. But the Bucs trying to capitalize on that turnover. The interception by Butrell.
You know, this Pittsburgh defense gives you so many problems because of the thing we mentioned before, Joel, that they are so patient in their defense. They play that scheme better than anyone else. They don't blitz. They'll send 4 people on a pass rush, but they all stay in their position. They all know that we have one position to fill and fill it.
And it's a very, very young group defensively. In the secondary, you've got Lake, a rookie, Everett, the 3rd-year man, and Woodson, only his 3rd year from Purdue. 3rd and 7. Ferguson over the middle has a man and underthrows Carrier as Rod Woodson is in on the play.
He underthrew Carrier, and Rod Woodson, had that ball been up a little bit, might have had the interception.
It'll be a long field goal try coming up for Donald Igwe-Buike. I love it. It's your favorite name in the league, isn't it?
I like it. You know, when he was at Clemson, when I was doing college football.
He's in his 5th year out of Clemson.
I used to call him Donald.
20 of 26, and 5 of his 6 misses this year have come between the 40 and 49-yard line. He'll come out of the hold of Joe Ferguson. He's got the distance and the direction. Igwe-Buike hitting the field goal from 47, make it actually 45 yards out. A 45-yard field goal by Igwe-Buike brings the Buccaneers back within 4. There's a little bit better than 6.5 minutes left in the first half, updating other scores. This very tight affair, the playoff picture starting to materialize in the NFL. Still tied at the Meadowlands while the Eagles maintain that 7-point advantage. Kansas City still has a slim shot at making the playoffs, but they need a lot of help. And New Orleans helping out the Steelers down to the Superdome.
Detroit. What a turnaround. That run and shoot deep offense that they have, I saw that thing with Houston, the Gamblers, when Jim Kelly was the quarterback there. Mouse Davis, that's his offense. And I'm going to tell you something. Once they get it perfected, they go up and down the field. And do you know that one year that Jim Kelly, when he ran that shotgun or that offense that they run and shoot, he was sacked 76 times in 1 year?
Ray Perkins in his 3rd year, the head coach of the Bucs.
You hear me?
It helps to have a back. I was about to say it helps to have a back like Barry Sanders to make that kind of offense work when you only have one in the backfield.
You bet it does.
Pretty tough to figure out who's going to be the NFC Rookie of the Year, isn't it? What a great season it's been for Barry Sanders. Igwe-Buike. Won't roll out of bounds. Woodson lets it go into the end zone and out of the end zone. A break for the Steelers. Good placement on the kickoff by Donald Igwe-Buike. That's us. Join us next Saturday afternoon. The Washington Huskies taking on the Florida Gators. Along with Paul McGuire and Jimmy Cefalo, I'll be there in Anaheim, California at the Big A. The best bowls coming your way on NBC Sports. And it all starts with the Freedom Bowl before Championship Monday. a week from tomorrow.
It was 84 degrees there yesterday, wasn't it?
84.
Yeah.
Southern California.
Yes.
Bring your shorts.
I'm leaving right from here. I'm going to skip Christmas.
First and 10 for the Steelers. The 20-yard line. Malarkey was the motion man, the tight end, leading the play for Worley. He gets 4 to the 24-yard line.
Well, he got 4 because of 2 blocks, one by Malarkey and one by Hodge. They just came up through the hole, and Worley just followed him in. 84 and 33. Here comes 84 Malarkey. Watch this. He's going to block outside on Murphy. Here comes Hodge. He blocks inside on Robinson. Inside out. And there's the hole for 4 yards.
2nd and 6 from the 24. Former Viking Mike Malarkey providing that big block. Brister buys some time. Worley takes a shot at the 25. Irvin Randall, in his 5th year from Baylor, making that big hit. He told us yesterday, I make my home here. I was embarrassed last week in Detroit. I live here year-round. I plan on playing a big game tomorrow.
And he said, I'm not worried about knocking the Pittsburgh Steelers out of a playoff spot. He said, I just love to play. I love to hit people, and that's what they pay me to do, and that's what I'm going to do.
He collected a big hit on Jim Worley. And it brings up 3rd and 5 from the 25. 4 wide receivers in there now for the Steelers. Brister will work out of the shotgun. Merrill Hodge, the only one to the backfield as Stock goes in motion. Brister going for the bundle, looking for a left. Knocked away and intercepted by Ricky Reynolds. Reynolds with the interception to the 40-yard line.
The play that Reynolds just made shows you the concentration on defense and the patience, Joel. What happens with Reynolds, number 29? Watch this. He waits until the last second to go up for the football, and then he doesn't wait for the ball to come down. He goes up to get it. Watch this. He goes up over top of Lewis Lips. Total concentration on the ball. Makes the interception. Tampa Bay has the ball. Now, Lips is beyond. He's going to be beyond Reynolds here. But watch what Reynolds does. He comes back in the picture, and the timing is perfect. Up over top. Here's the interception.
Steelers not really looking underneath all that often, going more downfield, away from what we normally see them do. 5th interception of the season. The former Washington State Cougar, Ricky Reynolds. And on 1st and 10, Lars Tate losing the ball after he was down. Gets a 1.5 yards near the 42-yard line. Tim Johnson in on the stop for the Steelers.
And also Freeman, Lorenzo Freeman, number 68, was in there. You're not going to make a living trying to run the ball up the middle against Pittsburgh.
A young group defensively. Johnson in his 3rd year, Lloyd in his 2nd year. Just talked about the secondary. Woodruff, the elder statesman there in his 10th season, but then you've got Lake, the rookie, Everett in his 3rd year, Woodson in his 3rd year. Inside linebackers like Nickerson in his 3rd season, and Olszewski, the rookie from Pittsburgh. So, great expectations for this Pittsburgh Steelers defensive unit. James Wilder crashing across the 42 to the 43-yard line on 2nd and long. Only gets a couple.
You know, he only gets a couple, but the guy that makes this play is the left quarterback who was on the right-hand side that time because of the 2 wide receivers was Dwayne Woodruff. He just took on the blocker and forced everything back to the inside. Again, disciplined by the defense.
And a lot of credit to this defense, especially after that last series when the Buccaneers intercepted the ball, had it at the Steelers' 30-yard line, but could not pick up a 1st down. And had to settle for a 45-yard field goal.
We've had this team 5 times this year. We got up after 92 to 10 in points in the first 2 games, and they have never been out of a game that we've done.
Ferguson out of the shotgun on 3rd and 7 from the 43. Plenty of time for Ferguson, but his receiver got all tangled up. Hill was worried about pushing back the defensive back. That was David Johnson.
Hill and Johnson were dancing downfield, and that's what Johnson said. And then Johnson said that Hill grabbed him by the shirt. Just solid defense.
So after another Pittsburgh turnover, the defense makes another nice stand. doesn't allow a first down. And the Bucs will have to punt it away.
I like this officiating crew. They're letting them play.
Chris Moore in to punt it to Rod Woodson. Back at the 20-yard line. The Steelers are after it. They get it. They get the block. It was Tyrone Stowe, picked up by the Buccaneers, though. Inside the 30, all the way down to the 20. Chuck Lanza, the center.
Chuck Lanza caught the ball in the air.
Check that. Broderick Thomas caught the ball in the air.
I'm on a wrong page. You're absolutely right. I gave it to you. That's my fault. It was Broderick Thomas. Lanza's with Pittsburgh. It'd be difficult for him.
A first-round draft choice, but now they'll sort it out.
The block is by Stowe, number 90. He gets a piece of it.
Cannot advance.
The ball will belong to Pittsburgh because they cannot recover in advance.
You got it. Can't advance the ball on the return after it's already been deflected. So Pittsburgh will have the ball
beyond the line of scrimmage.
Exactly that.
If it would have been behind the line of scrimmage, they could have advanced the ball.
So the Steelers will have it with exceptional field position. 2:57 left in the first half.
There's another reason why I'm not your spotter, because I gave you the wrong guy.
Steelers with the ball in a 4-point lead. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the 45 of Tampa. Now let's see if Bobby Brister tries to go to the underneath patterns a little bit or gets back to the ground game, which was very successful in the early going.
I think they're going to run wide left.
Tyrone Stowe got that block, made the big play. Merrill Hodge wanted to go wide left, as Paul had just mentioned. Angled it in to the 42 for a gain of 3.
This is the bread and butter of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just grind you out, come at you, let you know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to trap you. They're going to counter you. I'm waiting for the get a little further in so they can throw that quarterback throwback pass to Bobby Brister.
It is very early, and the Steelers only lead by 4, Paul, but I sense that they're controlling the trenches right now against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They've got the line of scrimmage, that's for sure.
The pitch to Worley. He's got blockers out in front. Inside the 40. Lunges to the 38-yard line. He's put down by Eugene Marr. They're short of the first down, though, by close to 3. Make it about 2. And we have reached the 2-minute warning in Tampa, Florida. We'll be right back to see what the Steelers do on 3rd and 2 with 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
I got a phone call this morning from one of our oldest customers. He fired us. After 20 years, he fired us. Said he didn't know us anymore. I think I know why. We used to do business with a handshake, face-to-face. Now it's a phone call and a fax. Get back to you later. With another fax, probably. Well, folks, something's got to change. That's why we're going to set out for a little face-to-face chat with every customer we have.
But Ben, that's got to be over 200 cities.
I don't care. Thanks.
If you're the kind of business that still believes personal service deserves a lot more than lip service, welcome to United.
Larry.
Lewis. That's the way we've been doing business for over 60 years.
Ben, where are you going?
To visit that old friend who fired us this morning.
United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Once, there were a few proud men of adventure, men of courage, men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are, the Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
Some bad news for Steeler fans as the Raiders, on a field goal, have regained the lead at the Meadowlands. But on the positive side for Steeler fans, New Orleans on top of the half by 4 over the Colts. Green Bay win that NFC Central. They could hang on for a victory and then get a win from Cincinnati tomorrow night in the Monday night game of the week over the Minnesota Vikings.
The I still can't figure the Minnesota Vikings out. I'm sorry. They've got all the talent in the world.
Neither can Mike Lynn, their general manager. 3rd and 2 for the Steelers. Brister out of the shotgun for the short one. It's Lewis Lips as Ricky Reynolds fell down. Lips down to the 20, near the 19.
Pittsburgh Steelers for this first half, they've been going long on 3rd down situations. This time, Lips goes down, runs a little hitch up, and Reynolds slips to come back. He falls down. He was playing him deep. Good call.
19 yards on the completion to Lewis Lips. 90 seconds left in the first half. They've got it inside the 20. Merrill High torpedoes near the 17-yard line. And the Steelers will use their first timeout of the first half. So they stop the clock with 1 minute and 23 seconds left in the first 30 minutes of play. Steelers really did get away from their game plan, though. It appeared going deep downfield when they had decent field position. They looked like they wanted that home run ball a little bit too frequently.
Well, they got it once with Lewis Lips, and, you know, you get a little spoiled, and sometimes you think, well, maybe it's going to still be there. Of course, at the beginning of the game, on the kickoff return, Reynolds was hurt. Hamilton was hurt, and they figured they'll exploit the secondary with guys, but they're both back in the game.
I thought Bobby Brister was going to hug you when he saw you yesterday. Paul, you're back with us. We've done 4 Steeler games now, and Paul, they've got a 3-1 record when we called their game.
Could have had 4-0.
Cincinnati game.
Yeah, the last, 2 minutes or minute of game.
When James Brooks broke that long one.
On a 3rd and 17 or 16, somewhere in that area, he ran 65 yards for a touchdown.
It's inside the 18. Call it 2nd and 8. Well, they go with the reverse, they fake, and Brister has room up the middle. Brister inside the 15 takes a shot near the 12-yard line.
Eugene Marv.
They'll save their remaining 2 timeouts. Continue to go with the hurry-up offense? No, they won't. Brister will use the 2nd timeout of the first half.
Eugene Marv, another former Buffalo Bill. Saginaw Valley was his college in Michigan. Here comes the hit. Brister goes up. He looks. Eugene Marv, number 99. Steps up inside. Now, here comes the hit by Eugene Marv. Shoulders, helmet. Now, you know who's coming into the game, Joel? Number 80, Mark Stock. This may be the throwback to the quarterback.
Mark Stock, the wide receiver that was brought off the developmental list for the Pittsburgh Steelers about 6-7 weeks ago. They're really pleased with his progress.
Think he looks anxious?
He's a rookie from VMI.
I'll throw it.
3rd and 3 situation. They do have a play in the playbook. They give it to Stock. Then he hits Bobby Brister.
Nope, they're not
this time, though. Brister finds Lewis Lips. The quarterback faked out completely. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Reynolds all the way in the end zone for some reason.
He ran Ricky Reynolds off almost 7 yards. Reynolds wasn't even in the ball game. And Lips is down. He's hurt. But he makes the play. It was just beautiful. The fake that he made. The toughest place to really cover people. You think you have a short area, but when they put everything to one side and you're sitting out here all by yourself trying to cover a guy like Lewis Lips, and then he runs you off.
He is already over 100 yards in receiving. It's his 5th of the season. His 2nd touchdown catch of the day, a 12-yarder. Anderson in for the point after. He drills it through the upright, and the Steelers now with their largest lead of the afternoon. They're up by 11 with 61 seconds left in the half.
All right, here comes Lips, but watch when he catches the ball. Here goes Reynolds. He's in the end zone. He is back in the end zone. He's now coming out of the end zone. Lips gave a little bit of a shove to help them. Here it comes here, but you can see how wide open Lewis Lips is. Reynolds not even in the picture. Now he's there, but he's on the goal line. And here's touchdown.
That close to the goal line, Paul, you would think, though, that the corner or anyone in the secondary has to be aware of the quarterback and what direction he's going in. He never looked back at the line of scrimmage.
No, he didn't. Well, you don't. When you're covering Lewis Lips, you don't have much time to look back at the line of scrimmage. You better keep your eye on Lips. And he did kind of push off a little bit. He's all right.
Not a bad start for Lewis Lips. Averaging a little bit better than 35 yards a catch. That makes it 5 touchdown receptions on the season for the gifted wide receiver for the Steelers. A lot of people say, and it's not a knock against Pittsburgh, but a lot of people say that if he was playing in a larger market, in a New York, a Los Angeles, a Chicago, he'd be considered in the very elite of the wide receivers in the NFL.
Well, I'll tell you something. The defense in the National Football League consider him that way.
Exactly. Willie Drury and Peebles back deep along with Johnny Elder. It'll be taken by Elder. He's across the 20. Jitterbugging his way down the sideline. Hurdles the tackler across the 40. Was that the 110-meter high hurdle? He's out of the 41.
Well, first of all, to the right of the screen, Joe, watch the two of the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to bump into each other right here. That helps them get to the outside, but here's the move right now.
Gary Anderson, which way did he go?
That's what you call ducking your head and closing your eyes. This is a game where you got to keep your eyes open at all times. Anderson, when they look at the film, he won't be in the room.
54 seconds left in the half. The Bucs with all 3 timeouts remaining. And outstanding field position outside their own 41-yard line. Wilder stamped in the backfield, working with Joe Ferguson out of the shotgun. 3 wide receivers setting up. Plenty of time for Ferguson. Underthrows, and it's intercepted by Woodson. Woodson down to the 30, still on his feet, to the 18-yard line.
Now, this was not a question of losing the ball in the sun. Woodson just played it perfectly. I loved at the end of the run, though. The guy that misses him, he just stepped over him like he was stepping over a hurdle. This is a bad pass by Ferguson because he throws it to the inside instead of back to the outside. And look at Woodson on the inside, takes the ball away. Now, the run he makes is excellent. But the best part of this run is watch down right about here. See that little step? Step over the hurdle, get in.
Chance for more points for the Steelers. First and 10 to the 18 of Tampa. Throwing the ball away. Good idea by Bubby Brister. He had Derek Hill over there.
Well, on the bottom over here, on our right, he's got Stock all by himself. They had one defender covering 2 people, Lips and Stock.
Stops the clock with 36 seconds left in the first half. 2nd and 10 to the 18-yard line. Steelers by 11. Steelers have to win today and then hope for a lot of help to make it into the AFC wildcard picture. Stone goes in motion. Brister with plenty of time. Throwing it wide of Derek Hill. You don't want to turn the ball over because you're looking at an additional 3 points.
And it is one of the toughest passes for a right-handed quarterback to throw. When you're forced out of the pocket and you start running to your left, to be able to turn your body square up to throw the football and get it on target. That time, I believe, again, he threw the ball away because Hill was covered.
Brister and the Steelers without many options down to the 18-yard line because they've only got 1 timeout remaining. So they couldn't afford to try to run the ball on first down. Will it be an inside shovel pitch? It will. Merrill high. Can't get out of the backfield, though. Goes to the 14-yard line. Now they'll let it run down, I would suspect, and stop it just in time for Anderson to try the field goal. It'll be the first field goal try of the day for Gary Anderson, who's 20 of 29 on the season. His longest coming from 49 yards out this season, and they do stop the clock with 3 seconds left in the half. And they finally set it up. It'll be close to the 22-yard line, making it a 32-yard attempt.
Newsom has already handled 2 kind of high snaps, and you know his hands are cold. But he's handled 2 high snaps already, one on the last extra point and one before that on the other touchdown. Keep your hands warm.
Harry Newsom, the punter, and the holder, and the placement man on the field goal tries for Gary Anderson. You look at the numbers for Anderson, and like Nick Lowry, who we saw last week, and all of a sudden they've got 9 misses in the season. What's the matter with Gary Anderson? They have spoiled us because they've been that good for so long.
They are that good.
Yes, and Nick Lowry, along with Gary Anderson and Morton Anderson, the New Orleans Saints, the 3 most accurate place kickers in NFL history.
But not a very good tackler.
But he makes the attempt.
I know he made the attempt. It was... Oh, now Tampa's going to call timeout. Give him something else to think about.
The sounds of Jingle Bell Rock continue in the background.
I know, I'm getting pumped. It's the right.
Now, will that have an effect on Gary Anderson?
No.
Talking about the music in the background. Oh, not the timeout. 3 seconds left in the half. One, for the most part, dominated in the trenches by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though they didn't get the home run ball downfield as often as they would have liked, Bobby Brister did have plenty of protection in the pocket. And early, they were running the ball effectively.
I think Pittsburgh is really basically staying to their game plan on 1st and 2nd down. They got one long touchdown pass. They got a little wild with it. They'll go back in the second half and do the same thing.
Here comes a 32-yard attempt by Anderson. Inside the upright and good. And that's the way the first half comes to a conclusion. The Pittsburgh Steelers with the last 14 points of the first half head to the halftime locker room with a good cushion now. A 14-point lead over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And the Los Angeles Raiders are tied with the New York Giants.
Actually, the last time we saw that, they had a 3-point lead at 17-14.
It's now tied at
17. Okay. So Pittsburgh needs help. They need the victory over Tampa Bay today. They also need Cincinnati and the Los Angeles Raiders to lose, as well as the Indianapolis Colts down in New Orleans. Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, and the rest of the group. In just a couple of minutes, we'll be filling you in on all the different possibilities.
You know, and the thing that we talked about, too, at the beginning, we talked about it to Chuck Noll yesterday and Bobby Brister, those guys, they're not looking at the scoreboard. They're really not. I mean, they got to glance at it once in a while. That's just human nature. But their destiny is obviously not in their own hands, but they must win this football game in order to worry about anything that's going to happen. And again, Cincinnati plays tomorrow night, so they can't do anything about that either.
And already the Pittsburgh Steelers have exceeded the expectations of just about everybody in the NFL after the way they started the season.
How about Rooney saying, hey, it's almost impossible to win 9 games. They got a chance of doing that.
We'll be right back to Tampa. It's halftime with the Steelers leading by 14.
A Merry Christmas and a welcome back to folks from all around the nation. People watching Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Miami, and the Raiders and the Giants. Bob Costas with O.J. Simpson and the Raiders putting up a heck of a fight at the Meadowlands, tied at 17 at the half.
Well, thus far it's been a well-played football game, even though I can't say that about a little of the officiating there. Right before the half, there was a very, very bad call against the Raiders, in my opinion. It was an up pattern. There was a little contact on the play. You'll see it right here. That's Terry McDaniel, the Raider player, making some contact. But if you can throw a flag on this play, you can throw a flag on 90% of the up patterns thrown in the NFL. It led to a 3-point field goal for the Giants, and that's why the score is tied. Well-played football game. The thing to watch in the second half is guys cramping up, because when the weather is this cold, but the sun is out and they're running all out, look for those big linemen to start cramping up in the second half.
So Bjorn Nitmo hits the field goal to tie it at 17 at the half. Steve Berline has a pair of touchdown passes for the Raiders, one of them covering 30 yards to Mervyn Fernandez. Dave Meggett, a 76-yard punt return for the game's opening touchdown for the Giants. But the next time he tried to handle a punt, he fumbled it. The Raiders recovered and capitalized with what proved to be, at that point in the game, a tying touchdown. Philadelphia just extended their lead at home over Phoenix to 21-7. Glancing at the monitor, the Cardinals have the ball with about 15 seconds to play in the first half, and they're at about their own 40-yard line, so there's a good chance at 21-7. will be the halftime score. A little bit of everything for the Eagles. Cunningham to Robert Drummond for a touchdown. Cunningham running 14 yards on his own for a TD. Roger Ruzek, the kicker, off a fake field goal with a 22-yard touchdown pass to Chris Carter. Philadelphia clinches a wild card with a win, and if they win and the Giants lose, they move back and take the title in the NFC East. Kansas City and Miami, teams with faint wild card hopes. Almost everything has to break right for the winner of this game. Don Shula, in 39-degree temperatures in his home stadium, that's unusual even in December, watches his team take a 7-0 lead as Marino hits the versatile veteran Jim Jensen with his touchdown pass. But Steve DeBerg comes right back off the play-action fake for Kansas City. Stephon Page tumbles in from 20 yards out. The game is tied at 7. It was 14-7 Miami when James Saxon broke some tackles, bowled over people, and tied it again for Kansas City. And then Christian Okoye gave them the lead, which they hold now at halftime. The NFL's leading rusher plowing across from the 1-yard line, 21-14 in favor of Kansas City at the half. They've gone to the third quarter now at the Superdome in New Orleans, and the Saints trying to do the other AFC wildcard contenders a favor, leading the Colts by a score of 10-6. Ron Meyer knows that no matter what happens elsewhere, his fate is in his hands. If he wins, his team is a wild card in the AFC. Here's the only touchdown of the game so far. Eric Martin making the leaping catch of the 3-yard slip from John Forcade. New Orleans early in the third leading 10-6. Tampa Bay at home against Pittsburgh, the game some of you are watching. Rod Woodson sets up one TD with a 72-yard kickoff return, sets up the late Gary Anderson field goal with an interception. In between, Bubby Brister throws 2 touchdown passes to Lewis Lips. Pittsburgh trying to finish at 9-7, leading at Tampa Bay 24-10. Green Bay at Dallas. Now the Packers have a wild card shot and a good one, and of course they have a shot at the title in the NFC Central if they win this game and Minnesota loses at home tomorrow night against Cincinnati. Green Bay in the third, leading Dallas in Dallas 10-3, trying to send Dallas to a 1-15 finish for the season. The Rams clinch a wild card if they win at New England, and they are leading there 10-3 at halftime. Jerry Gray picks one off thrown by Steve Grogan, brings it back 27 yards for the tie-breaking touchdown. And Detroit is trying to close the season by winning 5 in a row, and they're leading at Atlanta halftime there. The score is 14-10. If the Falcons should lose the game, then they get the #1 choice in the upcoming college draft. Roy Green just latched onto a touchdown as time expires in the first half in Philadelphia, and so the lead is down to 21-14. Phoenix moving back to within a touchdown in their game at Philadelphia of importance to Giant fans. We go to NBC News after this.
5:45, let's go! Rise and shine! Let's go!
Not the Army, but if they can make it through this basic training, physically and scholastically, they'll be ready to become the best that their minds and hearts can make them. This is the YMCA's Youth Service Corps, dedicated to developing strong work habits while at the same time serving the needs of the community. I'm Bubby Brister, quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've been involved as a United Way volunteer since this program began. Most are disadvantaged youth, many from the inner city. They earn minimum wage while they work and train. I believe in this program because I overcame many of the same difficulties they are experiencing when I was growing up. Youth Service Corps works because it brings out the best in these great young people. And you make it work when you support the United Way. The United Way, it brings out the best in all of us. Right, guys? Right!
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Stay tuned for NFL Live after these messages from your local station.
Tuesday, is it magic or is it murder?
Nothing. This is insane.
Only Matlock the Great can find the key to a shocking mystery.
That's some trick.
A magical Matlock. Then a sex scandal.
Well.
And a deadly intruder puts his on trial.
You have nothing concrete.
In the heat of the night, followed by Midnight Caller Tuesday.
It's sunny and 18 degrees. Chance of snow tonight, low of 10. Expect a white Christmas.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't keep an Iron Man down. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't keep an Iron Man down. You're the heart. You're the heart. You're the soul. You're the soul. You're the backbone of it all. You can't. No, you can't. 'Cause you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't keep an Iron Man down.
I tell you, I get no respect. First you cut me up, then you drop me in your purse. But I could take it as long as you take me to Foodland.
They double me, not like those other places. Hey, I'm stuck. Who left gum in here? Hey, don't get any ideas, you two.
Okay, stay right there. Look, Spike's Ice Cream, $1.79. Quaker Instant Oatmeal, $1.99. Those two. At Foodland, we know what you like. And don't leave the room during the commercials. I mean, we work hard on these things.
Good afternoon. I'm Tom Brokaw in New York, and on this Christmas Eve, there is no peace in Romania. While in Panama, U.S. forces are feeling more confident, but Manuel Noriega remains at large. Romania, the last of the major East European countries to challenge 40 years of communist imprisonment, is a country at war, Romanian against Romanian. The forces dedicated to freedom against those still loyal to the old ways of political oppression and military terrorism. Pro-democracy forces say the dictator, Nicolae Ceausescu, is under arrest, but he has not been seen. Highly trained and well-armed forces still loyal to Ceausescu have turned the capital city, Bucharest, into a major battleground. The Securitate, the paramilitary wing of the secret police, moves around the city using secret underground passageways, emerging to fire on pro-democracy forces. Civilians were on the run, but they will not give up, manning barricades at almost every intersection. Bands of vigilantes roam the city, grabbing weapons from the dead and firing on forces they believe want to preserve the old oppressive system. This, as you can see, is a city in chaos. The hospitals and morgues are filling up. But then, this is the most fierce fighting in Europe since World War II, street to street. It is still too early to know the number of dead and wounded, but it is already in the thousands and climbing. Some of the heaviest fighting has been around the central television station, where pro-democracy forces have managed to maintain control despite heavy attacks from the Ceausescu troops. This is the scene in a morgue. Body after body stacked up, many of them executed at point-blank range. We're told at this hour that the fighting has subsided somewhat.
Welcome back to Tampa, where the wind chill was 20 degrees at kickoff. The Pittsburgh Steelers in control right now, not in control of their own destiny as far as the playoff picture is concerned, but the Steelers on top right now, 24-10, winning the war of the trenches more than anything else.
They have controlled the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. And with this kind of formation that Pittsburgh has on their offensive defense, this is exactly what they have to do. They have done that so far today.
Steelers certainly capitalized over the final 15 minutes of the first half, in particular in the second quarter, on Tampa Bay turnovers. After Tampa Bay cut into the lead to make it 14-10, Pittsburgh up by only 4. The Steelers with 10 straight points. On a touchdown to Lewis Litz, a 12-yard catch, and then a 32-yard field goal from Gary Anderson. Anderson gets into it, and the second half is underway. Taken in the end zone, 4 yards deep by Sylvester Stamp. He'll stay right there. And looking at the numbers for the first half of play, Steelers total yardage almost doubling Tampa Bay, especially in the passing department, where they weren't real long passes to Lewis Litz when he broke off that big one, but great running after the catch.
You know, we talked about this with Chuck Noll yesterday. The time of possession means absolutely nothing in a football game. It's what you do with the time that you have.
That if you've got the lead in the ball, then it means something, because you're trying to make the other team take it away and play catch-up. William Howard on the carry, stacked up at the line. Tim Johnson got him after a gain of only 1 to the 21-yard line. The Johnson, the Steeler defense, starting the second half just the way they ended the first half, with a powerful surge, bringing up 2nd and 9. Johnson out of Penn State in his 3rd year.
Now just take a look at, watch him stack up everything in the inside. Lorenzo Freeman, there's just no place to go. When they bounce to the outside, the right defensive end, Tim Johnson, is there.
He's turned out to be a steal as a 6th-round pick back in '87. 2nd and 9. Ball at the 21 as Bruce Hill goes in motion. Ferguson hitting his back of the flat. Howard coming up just short of the first down marker. He'll be put out of bounds at the 28-yard line, short by a couple of yards after a reception of 7 yards.
Well, Brian Hinkle, linebacker number 53, is the man that was supposed to be covering Howard coming out of the backfield. He just couldn't get back fast enough.
half, and the Bucs could not convert on third down in the first half. Now they're facing their first third down of the second half. Third and short, third and a couple of yards. They'll stay in the aisle with Howard in front of Lars Tate. See if they try to hammer it. They do with Tate. And he won't get the first down. The penetration on the defensive front again there for the Steelers. Keith Willis, the big defensive tackle from Northeastern, making the initial hit.
And he comes up limping, but the secret to this was the Pittsburgh Steelers is the pursuit from the backside that really made the play. The people at a point of attack held their ground, stayed home, and then got help from the back. No place to run.
Chris Moore kicking with a swirling wind around Tampa Stadium. Wind at about 20 miles an hour at the start of the contest. Steelers already got one block from Tyrone Stowe today. Got close that time. Woodson with plenty of room for the 35. And he's bumped out of bounds, putting the Steelers in great field position to start their first drive of the second half at their own 47-yard line. Giants have to help out the Steelers. They need some help. The Raiders tied up at 17. Philadelphia leading by 7 at the half. Miami losing. It's advantageous for the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. And look, there's the number. Indianapolis, the number on top. There's one team that Pittsburgh really needs to lose. They're falling right now to the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome. First and 10 from the 47 of the Steelers. Merrill Hodge weaving his way near a first down. And this should be the mode of operation now, Paul, for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second half, leading by 14. Ball control and try to just eat as much time off the clock as possible.
Remember we talked about Terry Long getting a block in the first half? Well, watch this block. He's the guy right there, number 74 in the black jersey with the white numbers. He makes the play in the backfield.
You would think the Steelers would only want to throw the ball when it's an absolute necessity. Frequently in the second quarter, we saw Bubby Brister going up on top on first down. You would have to think they will not do much of that in the second half, leading by 14 as they're short of the first down by less than a yard. They've got it at the Tampa 43-yard line.
Most teams, or a lot of teams, this would be almost like a free down to run some type of play-action pass to try to get the home run right off the bat. I would be surprised if Pittsburgh did it.
Bubby went 5 games without a touchdown pass. He's got a couple today as Worley can't get out of the backfield, fumbles the ball. The play was not whistled dead, and Tampa recovers. Weston and Marv forcing the fumble, and Marv coming up with the ball. Spent 6 seasons with the Buffalo Bills before coming over to the Buccaneers last year.
I remember when the Buffalo Bills drafted him, everybody wanted to know Saginaw Valley, who is Eugene Marv, and turned into a very good linebacker.
Worley fumbles. They waste that exceptional field position, and when we come back, the Bucs have it, trailing by 14.
They predicted a gloomy year for everyone. But they didn't count on Mazda, with cars and trucks engineered to feel just right. Now Mazda is racing toward an all-time sales record, with record-setting deals that can get you $750 cash back on 89 Mazda trucks now. So come get a record-setting deal at the Mazda Race to the Record. At your local Mazda dealer now.
It began as a game. It turned into a battle. And now, it's out of control. Blood Bowl 2, coming January 28th. This time, it's war.
You wish your data were better directed, that all your departments were interconnected. How are you gonna do it? Well, you're gonna PS2 it with the IBM PS2. You want to network up, network down, exchange information with other towns. When you're all linked up, you can share ideas from bottom to top. How are you gonna do it? I'll tell you. You're gonna PS2 it. The solution is IBM.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on. And by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda. It just feels right.
Welcome back to Tampa Stadium. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. And season greetings from all of us at NBC. It's a great holiday. As we get ready with the Buccaneers putting it back into play. First and 10 at their own 45. Ferguson looking up top. And it's batted away from Carrier. Wayne Woodruff defending on the corner for the Steelers.
Wayne Woodruff, you talk about making the play at the right time, taking the ball again, as we talked about before in the first half at the high point. He just waited. He just waits on Carrier here. Watch this. Just watch the ground he covers. Carrier makes his break, comes out, and watch what Woodson does. Woodruff does. Just goes right up in the air and knocks the ball out of his hand.
In his 10th year. Well, all those young pups in the secondary. Second and 10 for Ferguson, the pup. Still to their 45-yard line. Trying to get it out to the wide receiver. That was the tight end, actually, William Harris. He'll bring up in the AFC this year to have a winning record away from home. The Denver Broncos, the best record away from Mile High Stadium this year at 5-2. The road team of the 89 campaign. San Francisco 49ers at 8-0. Quite a distinction for Pittsburgh, though. And what a year it would be for the Steelers if they could hang on and finish, even if they don't make the playoffs, finish at 9-7. After that 0-2 start, being outscored 92-10 over the first two games. 3rd and 10 for the 45 for Ferguson. And he's hit as he releases it. Is it a pass? Yes, it's incomplete. Tim Johnson scrambling like he thought it was a fumble.
I think it was Aaron Jones, number 97. It looked like he got the shot on Ferguson. Aaron Jones will come from the left side, and I think it's him that gets a piece of it. No, it wasn't Jones. It was Jenkins, A.J. Jenkins, number 99, that ended up getting a piece of the ball.
Their rookie from Cal State Fullerton. Moore in to punt it again to Rod Woodson. They almost get to Moore. Woodson will let it roll. And it was Dwight Stone who almost got the block for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jill Ferguson disgusted with the development so far in the second half for his Buccaneers.
This isn't an ad for diapers. This is an ad for Zenith's astonishingly automatic, high-resolution VHS camcorder. When you have a Zenith camcorder like this, babies will play a leading role. Zenith, quality.
The Mazda race to the record is almost over. We said we'd do whatever it took to set an all-time sales record, and we're almost there. But the race isn't over yet. There's still time to get record-setting deals, including savings of up to $1,000 on 626 and MX-6. But hurry, the Mazda race to the record will soon be over. At your local Mazda dealer now.
They say drink plenty of fluids. Swallowing's total pain.
Introducing new advanced formula chloroseptic with the power of phenol. It penetrates nerve endings to work on contact, so it gives the fastest relief. And nothing lasts longer. New advanced formula chloroseptic works fastest, and nothing lasts longer. Now the fast, long-lasting relief of advanced formula chloroseptic comes in new Cool Mint spray. Also, try new Cool Mint lozenges.
Things have not changed on this first roll of the 10-minute ticker on this final Sunday of the season. Important game for the Steelers and their fans with the Raiders tied up with the Giants. And getting good news again from the Superdome with Indianapolis trailing by 11. Welcome back to Tampa. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Steelers have it back first and 10 at their own 20. And they've got a 14-point lead at 24-10. Merrill Hodge on the carry. Fumble. Loose ball after Cannon got him in the backfield. Brister recovers, though. Cannon made the play. The defensive left end. Tripping up the running back.
Well, the guy that really doesn't get his block is Tunchokin. He makes the block at the point, but then to the right of your screen can't stay with the block. Bobby Brister following the play down the line of scrimmage. Heads up by the quarterback.
Loss of 4 yards on the fumble. Back to the 16. 2nd and 14 now. Brister going for Derek Hill, the rookie from Arizona, right at the first down marker. I believe he's short by about a half a yard. That is the first catch of the afternoon for Derek Hill.
And that's the first time they've thrown that pass pattern this afternoon. They're usually throwing streaks down the sideline, catching it back, the one to the tight end. And that's what's surprising. They went to Malarkey right in the first series of downs and have not gone back to him since then.
We're at Tampa Stadium. The matchup between the Steelers and the Buccaneers. Good to have you with us. 11 minutes, exactly 11 minutes left in the third quarter. It's Pittsburgh looking for the first down on 3rd and less than a yard. Worley can't turn the corner and can't get the first down. Rod Jones, the cornerback, came up with the run support.
Rod Jones, the corner. I mean, this is a tough play to make. And he just comes up and gets underneath Worley. That young man right there, is the guy that makes the play. Now watch the fill by Jones. Malarkey comes in. He blocks to the inside on Robinson. And here he comes now. Rod Jones underneath Worley. Can't get his legs moving. Perfect tackle.
Willie Drury waiting for the punt from Harry Newsom. Standing back inside his own 15-yard line. The defense is dominating in the early going of the second half. Newsom has problems, but keeps his wits about him. It's off the side of his foot. And touched by the Steelers, then picked up by Tampa. But initially touched by the Steelers back around the 47-yard line.
Smart play by Tampa because they could pick up the ball, run it, fumble it, and still have the ball.
When we come back, they'll have it outside of their own 45.
Cars and trucks engineered to feel just right. Now Mazda is racing toward an all-time sales record with record-setting deals that can get you $750 cash back on 89 Mazda trucks now. So come get a record-setting deal at the Mazda Race to the Record. At your local Mazda dealer now.
Times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never lets you down.
A legend has been created. A better battery for the future. Better with more reserve power. Better with a warranty that lasts over 6 years. Better in price with a sale going on all through December. The Napa Legend. The better battery.
Morning, folks. This is Captain Neely. Appears we've got the friendly skies all to ourselves.
While most people are just giving up, one airline is off to over 200 business centers across the U.S. United.
Thanks for flying friendly skies.
5 minutes have been played in the third quarter. Tampa Bay ready to get it back for the third time with exceptional field position to their own 47-yard line. And I'd like to remind you, it all starts on Championship Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern with Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson down at the Orange Bowl, getting ready for the battle for #1. Hall of Fame Bowl will kick it all off, though, on our Championship Monday coverage. Auburn, Ohio State, followed by the Fiesta Bowl. What a game that is going to be. Nebraska, Florida State, a rematch of the '87 Fiesta Bowl. And then the matchup for #1, Colorado, going up against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. To join us, the best bowls right here on NBC. And we'll have live reports as well from the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. 1 o'clock Eastern with Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson.
You know, Tampa Bay's had pretty good field position throughout this ball game, Joel. They just haven't been able to do anything with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Their worst field position to start a drive has been their own 20-yard line. Their last two drives, starting this one at their own 47, before that, their own 45. After that fumble by Tim Worley. Ferguson working on the play action, has all day to throw. His receiver coming back on it. Rod Woodson with a perfect play. He wanted to go to Carrier. Time to perfection by Woodson.
You know, and this pass, the pass is perfect. The whole thing offensively is great. This is the guy you want to go to as Carrier. But watch the defensive coverage by Woodson. Now watch him close. Carrier goes back. Woodson's got his eye now on the ball, not on the receiver, and just at the last second puts his hand inside. Can't do it any better than that, pal.
So often you see the cornerback push off the receiver by 4 or 5 yards. Not Rod Woodson, though. He's on his way to the Pro Bowl as a return specialist for the AFC. The delay to Sylvester Stamps, who jitterbug his way to the outside and gets close and does get the first down. Inside the 45 to the 42-yard line. A first down for Tampa. Let's get another update and a report now from Bob Costas in New York.
All right, Joel, all the other AFC wildcard contenders are hoping that the Colts will lose in New Orleans today, and the Saints are trying to help out. Here's the reverse off the punt. Bobby Morse fields it, hands it to Robert Massey on the reverse. 54 yards later, they're in business deep in Colt territory. Dalton Hilliard scored from the 7. Saints 17, Colts 6.
So the type of news Steeler fans like to hear, and there's another Pro Bowler. One of the two going for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the tackle, Tunjilkin. First and 10 for the Bucs at the 42. Ferguson going for Carrier. And after the interception, Thomas Everett helping out Rod Woodson.
Question is, with Carrier out of bounds as he was going down the sideline, and Everett, you're absolutely right, the free safety, he's going to come into the picture. Here goes Carrier. Does he go out of bounds here? Well, that's very close, but Everett got right in his face, got the flight of the ball, and that's what made the play.
9 minutes, 3 seconds left in the third quarter. Steelers by 14. Bucs have it, though. Only a couple of receptions for the third leading receiver in the NFC, Mark Carrier. So the Steelers have done an outstanding job of containing that outstanding receiver. The reception for Lars Tate, and a first down for Tate inside the 25 of the Steelers' 24. Olszewski getting downfield to make the hit with Everett.
This is so surprising with this defense, as disciplined as it is. No one covered Lars Tate. Lars Tate goes out to the right of the screen. And when Ferguson looks downfield, everybody's to the inside. Look, if you do not see a black jersey out there, Lars Tate picks up the first down. Olszewski makes the tackle, but that's 15 yards downfield. Somebody blew a coverage.
19 yards on the catch and run by Tate to the 23. They're going with a 2 tight end set, only 1 wide receiver. Is Bruce Hill. They stay on the ground with William Howard. He cradles the ball to the 21-yard line. Again, a little bit better than 2.
You know, Rod Woodson's going to the Pro Bowl as a return guy, but I think you're going to see him play a little bit defense. He plays it very well.
Lloyd in on that last stop, but you were talking about Woodson. He very easily could have made the Pro Bowl as a starting cornerback. That is so tough. The coaches and the players, as we look at the other Pro Bowl member, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tunjilkin, make the selection. Look what happened with the Washington Redskins this year with their 3 wide receivers, all with better than 70 receptions. None of the 3 made it.
All over 1,000 yards.
Yes. What a difficult process. Take on the pitch for Ferguson on 2nd and long. Goes for the tight end, and he can't hang on. Ron Hall. Good coverage by Brian Hinkle.
Brian Hinkle, when that ball hits, Brian Hinkle stayed with him. Stayed with the tackle. If he would have let him go, it would have been a catch. Ferguson rolls out to his right. Now watch this play. Watch what Hinkle does. Now he stays with the tackle. Moves him out, away from the ball. Solid defense. That time, Ferguson faked the ball to William Howard, 43, and nobody went with him.
4 wide receivers in there. On 3rd and 8 from the 21-yard line. Pocket holds up for Ferguson. He's got a wide open receiver. Drury inside the 10. Spun down to the 7. Bonus assignment in the secondary. Willie Drury wide open.
Here's a different handshake. They don't even touch anymore. They're shaking their hands at each other. But Drury goes downfield and just runs almost like a delay and comes underneath. And the key to it was the fact that Ferguson had all the time he wanted to throw the football.
First and goal at the 7 for Tampa. Clock is moving with 6 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third. He is not performing like someone who hasn't played all that much this year. At the age of 39, the oldest player in the NFL, Joe Ferguson. The pitch going to Sylvester Stamps. Or make it Lars Tate, 34, not 24. He is stacked up at the line.
Larry Griffin, who's a backup safety man, Joel, just makes the play. Again, we've seen it on both sides of the ball with the defensive corners and safety staying outside and forcing things in. That time, Larry Griffin made the play. All he had to do was wait for help, and he got it.
One of the deepest areas for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their secondary. They've only given up 3 touchdowns over the last 12 quarters. In the second half over their last 6 games, to take a little bit further, they've only given up 26 points over the last 6 games in the second 30 minutes of play. Ferguson throwing on 2nd and goal from the 7. Tate in the flat, only to the 6. Larry Griffin again over there in a big hurry.
Did you see that play again? Now, Tate goes out, and no one covers him. And it looks like he had about a 10 to 12-yard cushion on the play. When he goes out, the amazing part about it is he only picks up a half a yard. Watch it. Tate runs out to the left. Nobody's going to cover him. Now, when Ferguson throws the ball, look how far the defense is off, through by the end zone. Now, he's at the 10 now. He gets down to about the 6-yard line. He picked up a yard. That was all.
3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. Tampa trailing by 14. 2 wide receivers to each side for Ferguson. He's got time again over the middle. It dropped in the end zone. Carrier almost had his 2nd touchdown drive of the day. Woodson, though, draped all over his back.
The reason this was almost a touchdown, and I don't know why this team is kicking a field goal. They're not going anywhere. They're down by 14 points. But Carrier coming across, it's because Ferguson had the time. At this point right here, he pumps it at Carrier. Now he's going to throw the ball at Carrier. Woodson is there all over him. Looked like he had his arms up in his arms.
Can't throw it any better than that if you're Joe Ferguson. The receiver turns around, and the ball is in his direction already. Igwe Buike. 8 of 8 from this distance. It'll be a 24-yard attempt. And Tampa Bay getting the first points of the second half as they draw within 11. 4:56 left in the 3rd quarter. Steelers still on top.
I just did something incredible. 5 minutes ago, I had gray hair, but now I don't. And this is what did it. New Option Instant from Clairol. The advanced way to get rid of the gray. Option Instant for men is different. With theirs, you have to pour and mix ingredients, but Option's the advanced way. All you need is this. It's so easy. And only 5 minutes later, your natural-looking color's back.
Hair feels thicker, too.
New Option Instant from Clairol. The advanced way to get rid of the gray.
The Mazda race to the record is almost over. We said we'd do whatever it took to set an all-time sales record, and we're almost there. But the race isn't over yet. There's still time to get record-setting deals, including savings of up to $1,000 on 626 and MX6. But hurry, the Mazda race to the record will soon be over. At your local Mazda dealer now.
Thanks, Aunt Martha. No, not believable. Thanks. Joe, pretend she just gave you Sunday. But she gives me stuff like this. Try again. They just look here. Thanks, Aunt Martha.
You're welcome.
This Christmas, get something kids love. McDonald's gift certificates, just 50 cents each at 10 for $5.
It is a Sunday.
It's a good one for the great taste. Joe, say thank you.
I
Come
come home to the best in college football as Auburn battles Ohio State in the Hall of Fame Bowl. Then number 5 Florida State takes on 6th-ranked Nebraska at the Fiesta Bowl. And a game that will determine the national championship as number 1 Colorado battles 4th-ranked Notre Dame at the Orange Bowl. New Year's Day, the best bowls are on NBC.
The Giants have taken the lead of the Meadowlands. Great news for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their attempt to make the AFC wildcard game. They lead it by 7 over the Raiders, and even better news now, another score for the New Orleans Saints, so it may boil down to the Monday night matchup. Cincinnati at New Orleans, whether or not the Pittsburgh Steelers will get in.
If they get in, does that mean you and I will do their game?
They'd probably request us.
They'll request us, huh?
Welcome back to Tampa. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Igwe Buige just hit that 24-yard field goal. He is now 41 of 41 on his career from inside the 35-yard line. Joel, on a kickoff, we're not talking accuracy.
No, I don't understand why Tampa went for the field goal. They still need 2 touchdowns to win the football game. And they're not moving the ball that well. They were down that close. Here's a team that's not going anywhere. They don't need a field goal. They needed a touchdown.
The ball will be put at the 35-yard line, where the Steelers will get it for the 3rd time in the second half. The first possession resulted in a fumble by running back Tim Worley on a 3rd and 1 play. Then they punted the ball back to the Buccaneers. Now they get it. Solid field position to the 35. Blitz will go in motion. The counter give to Merrill Hodge. No blocking there. And no gain on the carry. Irvin Randall stringing the play out. The inside linebacker making the hit along with the cornerback.
Irving Randall did. Rod Jones is coming up, and the problem that was had here was by Terry Long. He had 2 people he had to try and block. He tried to get a piece of Jones and then come back out. 74 is going to come out into your face here. Watch this. Long. All right, here's a block on there, and he's got a defensive man in his face also. It's tough to do to block 2 people.
2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line of the Steelers. Their offense not underway so far in the second half. Merrill Hodge, moving for the first down, breaking tackles. He's got the first down to midfield stripe. Wrapped up there by Rod Jones, the cornerback.
Just right up the middle between the right guard and center, Dawson and Long, and if Hodge gets a block downfield by Derek Hill, he could have picked up another 10. Here it comes. Just take a look at the blocking in the line right here. Perfect blocking there. Now, when he breaks it back to his left, to the right of the screen, there's Hill. If he gets the block on Jones there, Hodge picks up another 10 yards,
That's
maybe.
a perfect example of what Bobby Brister told us yesterday. Tampa Bay at times is a group of over-pursuers, and they ran themselves right out of that play, especially the inside backers. 1st and 10. Worley will take it. Breaks the tackle, and he's down to the 45-yard line, a gain of 5. Another cornerback had to make the stop, Bobby Futrell. If you're talking about cornerbacks making stops, you've got problems as far as Tampa Bay is concerned.
Well, Raistra pulled out. He just buried the corner. That's when you give the corners an awful lot of credit, Joel. They got to come up and take on a guard. It's not like going up and taking on a wide receiver.
A cornerback leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in solo tackles this year. Usually tells you they're chewing up some yardage on the Bucs defensive unit. Clock is running with 2:35 left in the 3rd. 2nd and 5 situation for the Steelers. With Lips in motion. Merrill Hodge diving for a couple to the 43. We'll be right back to see what develops on 3rd down for the Steelers, but let's go back to Bob Costas for an update.
Well, here's good news, especially for Houston Oilers fans. The Colts are not seizing the wild card opportunity in New Orleans. They're opening the door for the other contenders. John Forcade of the Saints, flushed out of the pocket, finds Toby Brenner wide open for the 30-yard touchdown. Ron Myers down 18 points in the 4th quarter, 24-6.
Thank you, Bob. John Forcade turning into quite a story down in Louisiana. The 3rd and 3 at the 43. Brister out of the shotgun. Goes to his favorite target. Lips breaking a tackle. Inside the 20s. Forced down to the 15-yard line and a flag at the end of the play.
You telling me this guy doesn't get to the Pro Bowl, Louis Lips?
Was it a face mask against Tampa?
For that time, Pittsburgh, Bobby Brister looks out to the outside, and he says one-on-one coverage on Louis Lips.
5-yard penalty.
Louis, here it comes.
20 deep.
Control is out there.
First
Watch
down.
this. Louis Lips runs him down and turns him, makes the catch, and then breaks the tackle. Futrell is trying to hit the ball instead of making the tackle on the man.
What is so special about Lips is what he does after he catches the ball.
Well, that part is Futrell's fault there, Joel, because he'd already made the catch. Now you're trying to knock the ball out of his hands, which was in the other arm, in the left arm, instead of on the right side where you were, and Lips just breaks the tackle.
Fifth 100-yard receiving day for Louis Lips, the sixth highest day of his entire career. Inside give to High. Down to the 8-yard line. It'll bring up second down. Cannon in on the stop. The defensive end who's getting the start due to the injury to Reuben Davis.
What's interesting yesterday, talking to Ray Perkins about Davis, Reuben Davis, the starting left defensive end. He didn't practice all week, so he said, this is the only reason I'm not starting him, which he didn't. He's in the game now, but he didn't start him because he had missed practice.
Matter of principle.
Yeah.
Well, second and goal. Just inside the 9-yard line. Worley in motion. Delay to Hodge. Huge roll up the middle to the 5. Diving to the 1. Merrill Hodge soaked up to bring down. Finally hit by the free safety Harry Hamilton.
Well, when you run a draw play down on the goal line, you give credit to the offensive line. Just take a look at the blocking up front. Eugene Mark goes up, misses the tackle, but that's all done by the offensive line. They get their blocks. And the one thing you just brought up a little bit, just a moment ago, about the over-pursuit of Tampa Bay. They over-pursued the run to the outside and left the draw play open.
Bobby felt going into the game, he told us yesterday, draws, misdirection could work against this team. Definitely worked on the last play. It's third and goal. At the 1. Two tight end set. Worley, did he get in? Yes, yes. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
This was heads-up running by Tim Worley, and the reason it is because the hole where he was running, which was off tackle, was not there, and he just had enough patience to cut back to the inside and get to the goal line. When you take a look at it, the play is to the right. The hole is not there. Now, see the little cutback he makes there, and then dives for the end zone.
Steelers going out to a commanding lead. With 5 seconds left in the third quarter. Gary Anderson out of the hold of Harry Newsom. And Pittsburgh now leads it by 18.
Now do you know why that field goal by Tampa Bay doesn't make any sense? All right, here it goes. Here's the reaction of Bubby Brister. Watch this. Think he loves it? You know, that touchdown pass to Lips was the first touchdown pass in 6 games.
He's such a competitor. We saw the injury in the final minute of the Cincinnati game when he went down with a sprained right knee. He goes down with the injury, Paul. It didn't look like he'd be back for at least 4 to 5 weeks. But the type of competitor he is, he only missed 2 games.
You know, I wish everybody could meet Bubby Brister. I really do, because he epitomizes Pittsburgh Steeler football.
The spirit he has.
I've never, you know, it's been a long time where you've seen a competitor like Brister as a quarterback.
Steelers leading 31-13. The Giants by 10. Was that a roar I heard from Pittsburgh?
I think so.
All the way into Tampa? Good news for the Steelers. Not only the Raiders losing, but New Orleans in control of that game against Indianapolis. Anderson kicking it away. Willie Drury back deep. It'll be Stamps taking it, though, at the 4-yard line. Stamps across the 25 to the 26, and that is it. Gerald Williams, the outside linebacker, the rookie from Purdue, down in the special teams for the Steelers. And that's the way we come to the end of the third quarter. Here, right back to Tampa with the Steelers in the driver's seat.
our song. United Airlines Royal Pacific Service, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
New Britain, Connecticut is 119 miles from New York City. It only seems farther than that. People here live in the same houses their parents lived in, worship in churches where their grandparents worshipped, and work for the company their great-grandfathers built, the Stanley Works. So it's not surprising Stanley tools are made to last. It would only be surprising if they weren't.
Get ready for an eye drop so refreshing you won't believe your eyes.
Wow.
Look for Visine Extra. Like regular Visine, it gets the red out, but it also gives you an extra medication that cools, soothes, moisturizes, and protects dry, irritated eyes. For an extra medication in a formula found in no other eye drop, get Visine Extra. So refreshing.
You won't believe your eyes.
NBC Sports serves your need to know all week long. Dial 1-900-454-3500 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the USA.
We start the fourth and final quarter in Tampa, Florida. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not controlling their own destiny, but definitely controlling the contest today. Leading by 18 over the Buccaneers of Tampa Bay. Two tight end sets for the Bucs. They start the drive at their own 26. Wilder, the only one in the backfield. Ferguson for Carrier. He's got it for a gain of 9 to the 35-yard line. Ferguson was talking to us yesterday, the 39-year-old quarterback of Tampa Bay, and sadness in his eyes. He said the one thing that has changed more than anything else in pro football since he came in, overall team unity. He was telling us about when he played for the Buffalo Bills. He said after the game, everybody was together. It wasn't just 4 or 5 guys. Now it's just little small factions.
Yeah, 3 or 4 guys talking.
Completion good for 9. 2nd and 1 from the 35. Good reception by Ron Hall, the tight end, a diving grab. David Little, the tight end, trying to provide the coverage. It's the first down for Tampa.
And it really is when Ferguson is at his best, when he's throwing those little short patterns, because he can hit them and he's waiting for guys to make their break. But the key to the whole thing is the offensive line blocking for him, to give him enough time to throw the football.
When we asked him about next year, and we'll get to that in a second.
Hardy Nickerson almost gets to Ferguson here, but the blocking is there. I mean, he was close, but not close enough.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Short shot, Carrier can't hang on, and Everett almost had the interception, cutting in front of the wide receiver. Rod Woodson also down there. You can see Rod Woodson putting his fingers about an inch apart like you almost got it.
Well, on a situation like this, when you see Woodson covering Carrier, now see how far off he is? He doesn't want him to get to the outside because he knows he has help by number 27, Everett, to the inside. But that ball hit Carrier right in the hands.
Well, we asked Joe Ferguson about next year. Will his career continue? So, you know, the Sundays are very exciting still. I still have that old feeling. But it's the work week, and especially on a team like Tampa Bay, where the backup quarterback gets no repetitions in practice.
And then all of a sudden, you win the Testaverde gets hurt, you got to go into the ball game.
Ferguson going for the bomb, has Carrier wide open, and he can't get to it. Carrier got away from Rod Woodson that time.
Now, the play before, Carrier ran the ball towards the middle, ran his pattern towards the middle of the field. Now, take a look at what he does this time on Rod Woodson. No move at all. He just runs by Woodson. That ball is just off of his fingertips. Ferguson let it go. I mean, that pass is almost perfect. Joe. Well, Joe's one of the smaller quarterbacks. He can't see around the lineman. He has to get out a little bit.
Not bad for his 17th season out of Arkansas.
And he won't make a decision on whether he's going to retire or not until after the season.
3rd and 10 from the 45. He's got the first down. If Drury can hang on, and he does. And he's right at the first down marker. Delton Hall in on the hit. As the Steelers have their 2 extra defensive backs in there, the dime package.
That's the second time we've seen in this second half where Drury just delays and comes underneath. wait till a clean out, and then come underneath. You already have the defensive back, who happened to be Hall at that time, behind you. Again, the perfect pass.
The clock is moving under 13 minutes left. 13 minutes away from the 9th win of the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers and a 9-7 season. They lead it by 18. First and 10 for the Bucs. The 45 of the Steelers. Play action for Ferguson. Underneath, it's taken in by the tight end. Not much there, though. Greg Lloyd in on the hit, the outside linebacker after a gain of 4. Another update now with Bob Costas.
Thank you, Joel. John Tagliabue of the New York Times, the brother of NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue, was one of 4 journalists shot and wounded while covering the fighting in Romania today. Tagliabue was wounded in the back by a sniper who fired on a car carrying him and other reporters. All the reporters are expected to survive. John Tagliabue, the brother of NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue, is listed in satisfactory condition. Let's go back to the ballgame.
Thank you, Bob, and our prayers with the Tagliabue family. 2nd and 7. It's the tight end again. Ron Hall's got it for a first down inside the Pittsburgh 25 to the 22-yard line.
Joel gets the experience of Joe Ferguson, sitting back in the pocket, the blocking by the offensive line, and having the patience to wait for the tight end to come across the field and clear. And again, the perfect pass to the outside where the defender has no chance. The tight end is coming across the field. Watch this. He breaks, comes across. He's to the outside, and that ball is right on target. Artie Nickerson didn't have a chance.
Ferguson now 13 of 29, 135 yards through the air. First and 10 from the 22. Deep drop for Joe Ferguson. Over the middle again, and it's complete. Close to the 5. William Harris, the other tight end, gets it this time.
Joe Ferguson was with Buffalo. He loved to throw to the tight end. I mean, he'll utilize the tight end as much as any quarterback in football.
Giants continue to lead by 10. Steeler fans need the Raiders to lose. They also need the Indianapolis Colts to lose, and then it would boil down to the Monday night matchup.
Look at this, 31-6. That's gone.
If Cincinnati loses on Monday night at Minneapolis, the Steelers are in the AFC wildcard game against the Houston Oilers.
What a story that's going to be for this team.
First and goal outside of the 5-yard line. Ferguson with time almost intercepted by David Little. Didn't read the coverage that time. Focusing on Carrier.
David Little didn't want anybody to help him up either. David Little is right there, right in front. Finds Carrier. That ball just screams right off of his arm. And that ball had some heat on it. Look at Little. He's still upset. David Carrier would have a problem catching that ball.
One of the real leaders for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's led the team in tackles in each of the last 2 seasons. Second and goal now outside of the 5 for Tampa. 10.5 minutes left in the 4th. Ferguson again with plenty of time. Underneath, Sam has it. Belted immediately, though, at the 3-yard line. Good protection of the pocket, though, for Joe Ferguson.
You know, and Joe Ferguson's got 2 new guards in the game. Bax and Bruin. McHale and Cooper both couldn't play, and the young men are doing a pretty good job up front. But again, the Steelers only rush 4 people. They don't blitz. I guess they blitz less than anybody in the National Football League.
And then you've got real extremes at the tackle positions for the Buccaneers. Gruber, first-round pick last year, the first offensive tackle taken. On the other side, Rob Ketter, the last offensive lineman taken in the draft 4 years ago. Over the head of Ferguson with a shotgun snap. As Wilder, but Wilder stopped at the 5.
17 years, 39 years old.
Cool.
A little experience helps. The ball goes over his head, which has happened to him before. But watch what Ferguson does. Not only does the ball go over his head, he goes back, picks up the football. He gets a good bounce. It bounces up in his hands. And then he has enough presence of mind with the rush coming at him to stop. And the key to it was to stop, to get himself set to find the open receiver, Wilder.
They'll go for it on 4th and goal from the 5-yard line. 4 wide receivers in the game. Good snap this time for Ferguson. Into the corner, deflected, out of bounds. Incomplete, the Steelers take over. After the pass was deflected, it was taken in, but bobbled as well by Carrier.
Carrier had the ball, but it was a little bit too late. This pass to Ferguson does not read the linebackers. All right, here it is right there. That's Tinkle out there, number 53, and you see the ball bobble out of bounds, no touchdown.
8:48 left in the fourth. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
NBC's Christmas night gift to you. The award-winning movie for the whole family. The Sound of Music, Monday.
Beautiful sunny skies and 18 degrees now. Low tonight of 10 with a chance of snow.
This is the book that got Bubba cooked. This is the man who read an ad that ran in the book that got Bubba cooked. This is the store that sold to the man who read an ad that ran in the book that got Bubba cooked. This is the lake next to the store with an ad in the book that got Bubba cooked. And this is Bubba. The genuine Bella, Pennsylvania yellow paper. No other book can catch it. A Bell Atlantic Company.
So I told this guy that I met in New York, well, there's not much doing where we live. We're just plain folk living simple lives. And doing good deeds, like preserving the wildlife. Preserve the wildlife. And this guy says, yeah, but what do you do for fun? And I said, Friday Night Bingo really gets us going.
When it gets cold like this, you'd be amazed what some people will do to protect their cars against fuel line freeze-up. But of all the precautions known, and that includes dry gas, too, only boron super gasoline with ice guard is guaranteed to prevent fuel line freeze-up. No other product or home remedy makes that guarantee. Boron super with ice guard. You go, or we pay the toll. It even comes with this handy, easy pour container.
I've got to believe with the way Joe Ferguson is throwing the ball this afternoon that someone can use a quarterback like Ferguson next year in the NFL.
Well, what Ferguson is saying, he's going to make a decision, but he wants to talk to Ray Perkins, and we'll get to it right after this play, what Ferguson wants to do, or would like to do.
Steelers get it back after holding on 4th and goal. Tim Worley to the outside near the first down. All right, Joel, at the first down marker for a carry of 10.
Getting back to Ferguson, Ferguson said that, look, I'm going to make the decision when I go back home to Louisiana. And he said, whether I come back here or not, it's up to Tampa Bay and me and his family. But he said the most important thing is because the backup quarterback at Tampa does not get any snaps during the course of the week, and there's a chance that you're going to have to play. And for instance, Testaverde gets hurt. I mean, it's tough going into a game cold. He said that one suggestion I will make to Perkins is this: whether I'm here or anyone else comes in here behind me, at least let him take some snaps during the course of the week.
The repetition for the backup quarterback.
And to be prepared.
He got the first down, and Worley's back on the run again. 9 yards on that carry to the 25. Harry Hamilton making the hit in the secondary. Following today's game, we'll be back to NFL Live. Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson updating you on the playoff possibilities, all the other scores and highlights around the NFL. Pittsburgh Steelers now just want to grind it out with 7.5 minutes left. Keep it on the ground. Exactly what they're doing with Tim Worley and Merrill Hodge out of the backfield.
You know, it just seems like we've been calling Worley's name, and he had more. He's got 13 carries, 53 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Bobby lied to us. He said he needs 100 to win.
Hodge this time has the first down. Merrill Hodge on the carry. Up past the 27, close to the 28.
Number 79, Reuben Davis, who did not start the game because he missed practice all week long. Now he just moves, checks down inside. And that's Blankenship, number 60, blocking on him. Plugs the hole, but all they needed was a half yard or so, and they picked up the first down.
Merrill Hodge has had quite a day.
Now we're looking at Hodge at 16 carries and 72 yards. So combined, they're getting close to that 150-yard mark,
which they've averaged over the last 6 games. Taylor's looking for the 3rd straight win today. Their fifth and their last set. Brister barely got the handoff to Worley. Didn't make much of a difference, though. On the first down carry, just got back to the original line, maybe a half a yard, up to the 28. Tough to see for those signals from Bubby Brister.
It really is. They're looking directly into the sun. We're getting down to the 6 minutes in this ball game. And Pittsburgh now will probably have to wait till midnight tomorrow night
to find out.
What a Christmas present it would be for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the fans of Pittsburgh who've stayed with this football team. They've had the 4 straight Super Bowls, but even when this team has been down, the fans never gave up on them. And Chuck Noll and his staff, I'll tell you, Chuck Noll, you talk about patience.
Merrill Hodge on the trap play, has another first down to the 40 for the Steelers. Again, and to make the stop of the secondary was Harry Hamilton. Giants maintaining that 10-point lead. So if the Giants hang on, they win the NFC's Eastern Division. Regardless of the Eagles' victory over Phoenix, they maintain their advantage.
New Orleans bad.
New Orleans, one of those teams that's got a record that doesn't truly indicate how good they really are. And the LA Rams tied up now by the New England Patriots.
A little scary, isn't it?
Rams were not a lot to get into the playoffs. First and 10 from the 40-yard line. Tim Worley getting a block. But after he got that first block from Blankenship, not much more behind that. And a loss of a couple of yards to the 38. Murphy in on that stop.
Here comes Davis down the line of scrimmage. Let's just take a look at it. He gets off a Ricketts.
4:36 left.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
Four-wheel drive?
You said you can drive in every direction at the same time. There's 4 steering wheels for driving.
Anti-lock brakes?
Yes, you can lock them so no one will steal them.
Kids may not understand what Ford Aerostar's new four-wheel drive and standard rear anti-lock brakes are all about. But rest assured, their parents do.
Now get 4.8 financing for up to 48 months or a $1,000 cash bonus on Ford Aerostars.
Enemy on the open. Moving up on your right, Bravo 2. Fire!
I'm 30 miles from the action, but I'm responsible for a digital communication link between headquarters and brigade.
Enemy deck, 6.1.
If the data isn't programmed right, 5,000 troops could be cut off.
Enemy forces together.
But I'd never let that happen to my brigade.
Op 4, here's eliminated. Be all that you can be.
Did it, sir.
Outstanding. It's on life in the Army.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Interstate Batteries. For a dealer near you, call 1-800-CRANK-IT. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
The wind chill took it down to 20 degrees for the opening kickoff this afternoon, but you can believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are all fired up now with an 18-point lead. They've got it 2nd and 12 back at their own 37-yard line. Close to 13 as Lips goes in motion. Worley looking for the hole out of the backfield that never developed. Gets it up to the 39. Kevin Murphy puts him down there. And now Tampa will use another timeout. And so will we. Stop the clock as it continues to roll with 4:20 remaining. You're right back to Tampa, Florida.
You kept thinking, it will stop, it will at some point.
that went on forever. But there was glass everywhere.
In the living room, I have a 700-pound soapstone wood-burning stove that had bounced all the way across the living room, sitting in the middle of the floor. It was obvious from the very beginning that our house was no longer habitable. When I called my agent and told them we needed to find temporary housing, within 48 hours, Allstate had written me a check to pay for our moving expenses and for our rent. I expected bean pushers, and I got sensitive people instead.
Announcing the biggest sale ever from Ford. Now, Ford gives you a $1,000 cash bonus on the #1 selling cars and trucks in America. A $1,000 cash bonus from Ford on Taurus, Thunderbird, Probe, Tempo, Mustang, and Festiva. A $1,000 cash bonus on the best-selling Ford Escort and Ford Ranger, plus Bronco and Aerostar. Or choose 4.8% financing for 48 months on Taurus and Aerostar. It's the biggest sale ever from Ford, with a $1,000 cash bonus on many of America's best-selling cars and trucks. See your Ford dealer today.
It began as a game. It turned into a battle. And now, it's out of control. Blood Bowl 2, coming January 28th. This time, it's war.
Jane Pauley, flashback to the 80s, Wednesday on NBC.
They have added an additional 8 seconds on the clock in Tampa. I think it'll take a little bit more than that for the Buccaneers to get back into it, though. 4:28 left in the contest. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. And the Steelers looking at a 3rd and 11 on their own 39-yard line. Three wide receivers to one side for Bobby Brister. Works out the shotgun, sending Dwight Stone in motion. Pocket collapses, and Brister goes down for one of the few times this afternoon. Davis, Ronnie Weston combining for the sack. And don't forget about Championship Monday. Sergeant Bobcock and O.J. Simpson at 1 o'clock Eastern. The Hall of Fame Bowl kicks it off. Ohio State and Auburn, followed by the Fiesta Bowl, Nebraska and Florida State, and the battle for #1. Colorado, and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The undefeated Buffaloes, the #1 team of the nation. Join us. The best bowls right here on NBC.
I figured out why Ray Perkins was taking those timeouts. He's still in the sun.
4 minutes left of the contest. Newsom has it blocked. Into the end zone it goes. And out of the end zone. It's a safety, but blocked by Sherman Cockcroft.
Another former Buffalo Bill player, Kansas City player. All right, Newsom, the ball was there, but Cockcroft, no one just was even close to blocking him. They just sent everybody, had one man deep, and the ball gets out of the end zone.
That is the first block of a Harry Newsom punt this season. Gives the Bucs 2 more, and now they trail by 16.
If you stripped Ford Taurus of all its awards, erased all the glowing reviews,